Time in Ottawa. On the way to the opening faceoff, we should consider just how do the Leafs counter the Senators' game plan. Coach Berube has an idea. Okay, welcome to Leafs Game Night. Jim Taddy and tonight Mike DiStefano reporting, Al's brother, a.k.a. Mike, welcome. Obviously with some technical problems, we apologize to the stations across the network for that, but we press on. This is a key moment in Maple Leaf history yet again, Mike.
Oh, it certainly is, Tatman. It always is. It seems like every year we have this question. Is this the biggest game of the Core 4 era? And it seems like every time it's a yes, it is. And we're here again, Jim, because, look, if they lose this game and we have to go to another Game 7, nobody wants to see a Game 7 if you're a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they got to get the job done tonight. They didn't do it in Game 4. They didn't get it done in Game 5. Is Game 6 finally their chance to advance and finish the job? I guess we'll see.
There was some great positioning post-game immediately after the loss on Tuesday night to Ottawa, 4-0. Coach Berube said we lead the series 3-2. We've won in Ottawa before. I mean, all the right things were said there. He did talk about he was asked about the top line not generating anything, and he talked about them being slowed down in the neutral zone. And that clip that we were trying to get to earlier was that they had that top line has to figure out a way to get through that and generate some speed and scoring opportunities. I mean, you could say it's about the team, but really it is about the top end, isn't it?
Oh, I believe so, for sure. Because if you watch that game and you look at it, you didn't have a problem with how things went defensively. I thought everyone kind of did their job on the blue line. The Sens were limited to 5 high danger chances at 5-on-5. Thought the fourth line did a great job. That Lorentz line with Lawton and Yarncroc, I mean, they were dumping pucks in and getting pucks out. That's the job. Don't get scored on if you're the fourth line. That's the job. They were arguably the best line on both sides of the ice in game number 4. So they did their job, check. And then you look at the goaltender. You cannot fault Anthony Stolarz. He did his job too. It was a 1-goal game late into the third period. What more do you want from your starting goaltender? So all those boxes got checked. You know the one that didn't get checked, Mr. Tatman?
Yeah, the win.
The win and the ones that need goals. The top 6 did not score. That's their job. And so, yes, you can say as a team they need to win, absolutely. But when other people do their jobs, like the goalie, like the blue line, like the depth, the defensive depth, they all did their jobs. The one who didn't is the most important of all, and that's the stars. That's the top 6 and the core 4 who make a heck of a lot of money, and they're paid that way because they can score goals. When you put up a goose egg in a playoff game in a win in advance situation on home ice, there's going to be a lot of noise coming off of that game. So rightfully so, but tonight they got a chance to battle back and put their stamp on it, right? They could say, Game 5 was a one-off if they can get it done tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key to it. And, you tend to, my line always is don't fall in love with the team that won the last game. So, I mean, obviously Ottawa with a shutout, but they're not going to shut them out again, you wouldn't think. If you go back to the game situation, the Shabbat goal is off a face-off that, and Austin Matthews, did sort of screen his goaltender, and Coach Berube post-game said we needed a block there. And the shorthanded goal is just, there's an Austin Matthews giveaway, and Marner and Nylander somehow run out of gas, but they've been on the ice for a minute and a half. So, I mean, the shorties, there's another one of those things that turns around in mid-series. 5 for 9 going into Saturday's game, now 0 for 7 with 2 shorties against. That's quite a contrast.
That's the biggest difference in the game, isn't it? Like you think about the power play, how red hot it was through the first couple of games, and then all of a sudden it runs into a brick wall. And not only that, they're giving up goals on the man advantage. The power play is -2. You're not going to win a lot of hockey games, Jim, if your power play is a -2, and that's kind of where they've been through the last couple of games here. So that's one thing that certainly cannot happen tonight. The Maple Leafs, they've allowed a short-handed goal in back-to-back games, and they've been backbreakers. You think about when they're being scored, and especially the one in Game 5, right? Matthews gives up that puck. They're trying to push on the power play. Ridley Gregg takes a stupid penalty, and you think, all right, this is Toronto's chance to capitalize on it, score the game-tie goal late in the third period, and then this game is all evened up. Instead, Matthews, uncharacteristic, stupid play, giveaway, and they go down the ice the other way, 2-on-1. Dylan Cousins scores 2-0, and that was pretty well curtains at that point. So can't have those back-breaking mistakes in tonight's game like you saw in Game 5.
Okay, so what are the lineup changes for the Leafs? It's just an adjustment. There's nobody in or out from the past or from the last game. It's the same group of players, but Pacioretty goes up and plays with Tavares and Nylander. And quite frankly, I'm going to be honest here, as I always am, when I watched that game on Tuesday night, I thought he was sort of slowing down and not as effective. Coach didn't see it that way. He put him out with those two guys and saw something there and is going to go with it in tonight's game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he looked like me and O competing in the 40-meter dash a couple of years ago when he was out there, didn't he, Jimmy? I'm with you, man. He didn't look like he had the wheels, but he's not like a speedy player. He never has been, and that's not what they're hoping he's going to do. He's not going on that line to add speed. Now, I'm with you. I do question the move. Like a guy like Bobby McMahon would have made a little bit more sense to me. We've seen a lot of success throughout the regular season with that trio. You look, McMahon, Tavares, and Nylander, when those three were on the ice together, averaged 4.22 goals per 60 with a 58% expected goals. Pacioretty, Tavares, and Nylander, a little less than that, 3.69 goals per 60 and only 49% of the expected goals. So they got worked more than, they were the better team when they were out there on the ice. So I don't really get the move myself to put Pacioretty up there. I guess they probably are just hoping that he can go and win some battles, but you got to get to the puck, Jim. That's the problem. So, yeah, the puck might go into the corner, and you want someone to go and win that battle and get it back for Willie and Tavares, but he's got to win the race. And it just didn't look to me like he was able to do that. He was laying hits, but they were well after the puck was gone. So it's not the effective kind of hits that cause turnovers. It's just, you're rubbing a guy out along the boards, but it didn't really necessarily compute to anything successful offensively for that line. So we'll see. They had to do something, I suppose, right? They've lost a couple of games. Going status quo 3 games in a row may not have been the smartest thing. So we'll see. Perhaps they can muster up something tonight.
Well, maybe it was a road game move just because Ottawa will have last change. But either way, here's Pacioretty on his readiness.
I'm there. Minutes, you're playing off adrenaline there early, and then your body comes back to reality a bit, and it's a bit of a mental grind after that. But I feel like I'm ready.
I think John had some great chemistry earlier in the season. How do you feel like you can recapture that?
Yeah, it's 2 easy guys to play with because they're so damn good. I just want to, like I keep saying, create some time and space for them and give them the puck.
What's your sense of the group? 2 losses. It can feel like a lot in the playoffs in a series. Like, what's the mood of the team right now?
No, it doesn't feel like a lot. We're in a great spot here right now. We know that we know we're capable in that room, and we're looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
What have you learned over your time in the league about dealing with pressure? Like, what's the key?
Well, it's scenario to scenario, right? Like every organization, every situation is completely different. All the best teams seem to go through adversity and handle it the right way. And there's a little bit of adversity here, and it's going to be a big test for our group, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Max, Brady said this morning that they felt like they didn't have pressure because it's either win or go home. Do you feel like there's greater pressure on you guys to close this one out in 6?
These questions, I can only speak for myself personally. And no, I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun out there tonight and playing a great hockey game. Pressure, a lot of it is, the outside noise and what people want to make of it. But we're a tight group in here, and we believe in each other, and we believe that we're going to show up tonight and have a very good hockey game.
What are the main checklist items for you guys to generate a little bit more offensively in this game compared to the last one?
Yeah, that's definitely the area that we want to improve on, and it's no simple recipe. If you ask every NHLer in the playoffs how you got to produce, it's dirty areas, second and third chances. Obviously, their goalie played a hell of a game last game, but we got to get into his eyes and make life a little bit harder on him.
Craig had talked about physicality and how maybe you guys could do a better job of arriving on time. What does that look like tonight?
Yeah, I think that comes with feeling good about your game, is you're making the right reads, arriving at the net, not too early, not too late. Those are what the top players seem to always do, game in and game out. And it's a good reason. It's a good example of what we have to do to produce some offense.
Yeah, I think really what he's trying to say is they just have to be more engaged, AB. What do you think of that?
You have to be more engaged. You got to go. You got to battle. Like, ultimately, that's what it is. You got to battle, but you got to get there. And it's kind of interesting hearing that from Max Pacioretty, because we just finished saying how Pacioretty doesn't quite have the speed to get to those areas, as quickly as he's suggesting. But maybe he's pushing himself, and that's what he's going to try to do tonight. But I did like what he talked about, how he believes, a way for this team to try and generate more offense and score. Keep in mind, they didn't score a single goal in Game 5. they got to get to those dirty areas and get those second and third chances. Jim, they're dead last in the league so far this season when it comes to, or in this playoff, when it comes to rebound shots. A league low 7 shots off rebounds for Toronto. They've yet to score a rebound goal in the postseason. And when you boil down the numbers, the old adage goes 80% of playoff goals scored within the inner slot when you muck it up and get dirty. So they got to find a way to do that. Need to create some havoc, some traffic in front, get some rebounds, and bang away at them and hopefully put one in the back of the net tonight.
Well, we'll see what he does. I mean, if you go back to the midway point of the season when he played with Tavares and Nylander, he looked pretty good. So maybe, I always defer to the analytics of the coaching staff. They know how he's tracking. To the eye test, it looked like he was wearing down in the last game, but who knows? The line that I would really be worried about, this is an emerging line for Ottawa, is Pinto, Amadio, and Gregg. This line has done a really effective job, haven't they?
Oh, certainly, especially in their own end, shutting down this Matthews, Marner, and Nyes line. And coming into it, a lot of Senators fans kept telling me, like, hey, watch out for this Pinto kid. Like, he's been able to shut down this Matthews all year long. Keep in mind, the Leafs didn't win a single game in the regular season against Ottawa, and they had lost 5 in a row. A big reason for that, they found a way to shut down Austin Matthews, and Pinto and Gregg doing a great job of doing that. So, again, it goes back to the top 6 needs to figure out a way to perform. And go back to what Pacioretty was talking about. They got to get to those dirty areas, win those net front battles, end up with a couple of second, third opportunities and convert. And that's what there has not been from this team, and that's what they got to start doing tonight.
Okay, coming up next, we'll hear from Coach Berube, and we'll have the keys to the game. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and
it's rock you can feel deep down in your soul. Songs that remind us of where we've been and inspire us to keep going. It's SiriusXM Southern Rock. And it's one of over 200 channels you can hear anytime with the SiriusXM app on your phone or at home on your computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think any time that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. In case you missed it, on NHL Network Radio.
Butch Navitz for the deflection. They shoot. They score! Jimmy Snuggerud. His first is a blue. 3-0 St. Louis. It's a power play goal. And in the biggest NHL game of his young career, he scores his first NHL goal. Smile away, kid. Smile away.
NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
Have wrestled with this one for a while, but I believe we've got our top 5 player of all time. Gretzky, Lemieux, or Howe, and I think it's Sidney Crosby for all-around play. Any discussion, no matter how you slice that loaf of bread, Sidney Crosby's in that discussion. Talk about high-level consistency.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. Haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking bows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. I think Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
every weekday, 4 to 7 p.m. on TSN 1050.
Leafs Game Night. Jim Taddy and Mike DiStefano reporting. Tonight's Coach's Comment is powered by your Ontario Honda dealers. Get performance and get in the game with the Civic Hybrid. Available now at your Ontario Honda dealer. And here's Coach Berube on the lineup changes tonight.
Max, he had some real good stretches with those guys before he got hurt. And big guy, strong, physical, good around the net. So that was the decision there.
Why not making the other changes with guys you keep
I just didn't feel that we needed that right now. There's a lot to like on our team right now, the way things are going. So I felt like best to leave it.
What have you seen from Max since he's come back that leads you to believe that he's ready for a little bit more at this point?
Well, I feel like with JT and Willie, the puck, it'll be in the offensive zone more. And that's where he can do his thing, to me. That's the reason.
What is the key to generating more high danger scoring opportunities?
Well, they're clogging up the middle really well. They've done a good job of that. So we got to stretch it out a little bit, use our D a little bit more. We got to get pucks through to the net from them, and we got to get traffic. And that's, playoffs, you got to have to win those rebound opportunities and broken plays around the net. That's going to be key.
When you're going up against a defenseman like Sanderson who skates a well and plays so much, what kind of keys do you have to set the team?
Well, he's very elusive, as you guys can see. You gotta, as much as you can, you want to be physical on him and arrive on time, like I talked about, and take the body on him. That'll slow him down for sure. And then, when he's got separation, it's best, to angle him out and make him move the puck and keep him in front of you as best you can. They're tough to handle. Obviously, they're great. He's a great skater. He's got a lot of good tools.
When you didn't use Anthony 6 games in a row all season, what's your sense of how he's handling an increased workload here?
Well, he's been fine. I think he's played really well, and I don't see any issue with him.
What's your sense of the group? What have you felt?
Business-like. Let's go. Ready to go. Business. Let's go.
It's all business. I mean, that's well said. Keys to the Game is brought to you by Medicare and Medicare Plus. Come in for our free Men's Express pedicure. 4 locations in Toronto, online at medicare.ca. So, AB, what do you have for Keys to the Game?
Keys to the game, Jim. I mean, you look at how the last 2 games have gone, special teams. The Leafs need to make sure that they win the special teams battle. And that doesn't just mean scoring on the power play. Unfortunately for them, it means keeping pucks out of the net on the power play. Those short-handed goals have been such backbreakers for Toronto. And there's this ugly stat going around since 2018. The Leafs in closeout games, 0 for 30. 0 for their last 30 on the power play in closeout games. It's a big reason why they're 1 for 13 in those situations. So the power play, which is, again, led by the big boys, needs to come alive for the Leafs tonight.
Well, when you go to those games where they're 1 and 13 in elimination games, it's no secret as to why they're not winning those games. The big guys are just getting silenced.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch Marner has 5 assists in those games. 5 assists, and you're not getting a whole lot from Austin Matthews, John Tavares. They truly will need to get going. A real simple key: the top 4 has to score. They have to score. They got 0 goals in Game 5, and that's the reason why we're heading into a Game 6. If they score on that power play instead of getting scored on, we probably go to overtime, and there's an opportunity for them to keep it going, and an opportunity to send the Senators packing, and we don't even have to be here tonight. But that's not what happened, and here we are for a pivotal Game 6. And I mean pivotal in terms of this organization. Yes. What happens if they lose tonight and we go into Saturday? And I don't even want to think about it, Jim. I don't want to get there quite yet.
I don't want to send anybody for the pain medication, but in 9 playoff series in this configuration, they're 1 and 8. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, when you look at this particular situation with the Leafs, you're wondering how, I want to go back to what Coach Berube said about stretching things out, about getting, the defense a little more involved, about blocking the sightline of Allmark. I agree that that's what has to happen. My question would be, can you do that immediately and on a road game, because correct me if I'm wrong, I think it took Ottawa several games to get to that, and they finally got there. I don't know that you reverse that in one game. Now, I don't want to suggest that there's another game here, but I'm just wondering how they're going to go about doing that, because it's the right thing to do, but can it be done?
Well, you got to work harder than the other team. That's how you do. You battle, right? Ottawa started battling and winning those battles in front of the net and winning those 50-50 puck battles. And that's how they've been able to stay afloat and win these games. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So Toronto, who has not been able to do that a whole lot, that's the biggest reason why they've lost these last couple of games. You know, like we heard it from Pacioretty, how he said, we need to get to the dirty areas. We need those second and third chances. Berube touched on the fact that they need to create some rebounds and try and score that way, going to the dirty areas. Again, I'll say it. They have a league low 7 shots off of rebounds so far in these playoffs. 0 of them have resulted in goals at that. And the Leafs are the only team, Jim, performing below expectation in expected rebound shots. That means that they're losing those 50-50 battles more often than winning them. And that's been a big difference between games 1 through 3 and then 4 and 5 to this point.
Well, I mean, it's been common in a lot of playoff series where a team will have under 5 shots on goal in the game, and that's been done to the Leafs a number of times, and they've done it to Ottawa a number of times. This is I don't know, it's very exciting, but this is the new trend, isn't it?
Well, just low event hockey. That's what it is. It's all about low event hockey. And you know, shout out to producer Cam. He pulled up this stat for me, and a big difference in why the Ottawa Senators have been able to win these last 2 games and stay alive in the postseason. Here's a stat here for you, Jim. In games 1 through 3, the Ottawa Senators, when they lose a defensive zone faceoff, they gave up a scoring chance on 34% of those losses, resulting in 4 goals against on those faceoff losses in the defensive end. Games 4 and 5, they haven't allowed a single scoring chance at all when they lose the defensive zone draw, which clearly means the Leafs have not been able to capitalize and score when they get an offensive zone win on the faceoff dot. That also is something that will need to change tonight. They have to be able to generate some chances when they get those opportunities in the O-zone.
Well, look, you're a big football guy, so I've said this a couple times in my show. When I watch the NHL today, it's like football plays. You're running a play to break down the coverage, and then you get into the low event game. That's really what hockey's become, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's very much like in football this year. You mentioned it. They wanted to avoid those deep balls. So what they do? Single high safety. Can't beat us, or 2 high safety instead of single high. So they basically said, we're going to put 2 guys in the back, and you're not going to throw on us anymore. You want to beat us inside and try and beat us in the run game. And that's pretty much what this defense has been able to do. They say, all right, we're not going to spread out anymore. We're going to pack the middle of the ice. We're going to get in front of pucks, and we're going to block shots. We're not going to allow you to, create traffic and screen our goaltender. We're going to beat you in those battles. And that's really been the biggest difference. So Toronto got to make sure that they do all of those things tonight to try and muster up some offense.
So how surprised are you that we're doing Game 6? I mean, Saturday everybody was talking about, if you sweep them, then you have to wait for Florida or Tampa, and even though they started later, they're long since done now.
Yeah, I know. I am surprised. You shouldn't be, because it's the Maple Leafs, and you should really expect the unexpected from them, or expect the worst. Expect to be heartbroken in April and May. But honestly, I just, based on how the first few games went, it seemed like Toronto had figured it out, and that Craig Berube, his systems were going to play up to expectation, and this team was going to eliminate Ottawa in 4 or 5 games. And look, they've been close, right? You look at them, they're a couple of mistakes away. They've really shot themselves in the foot in the last couple games. They could play mistake-free hockey tonight. They should be able to get it done. So I am surprised. I thought they would get it done. I didn't know if they would do it in 4, but I thought for sure they'd show up at home and end this thing in 5. The fact that we've gone to 6 is a little uneasy, right? Those demons, those whispers getting a little louder and louder the longer this series progresses. So hopefully they can get it done tonight and avoid a Game 7.
Yeah, my original prediction was in 6, but I had no way to know that they'd be up 3-0. And I mean, You could come up with the number, but you could never come up with how.
Only 4 times in NHL history, Taddy, has a team completed a reverse sweep. It would be very Leafsy for them to be the 5th team.
Oh,
let's hope that doesn't happen.
Trademark pending. So, I mean, where are you on the bottom 6? Because I think earlier in the series, the bottom 6 looked good. I still like Locke, Yarncroke, and Lorentz. I think it's a hard-working line. But Bobby McMahon, I need something more there. Do you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he does. And they've changed it up a little bit. Pontus Holmberg's going to flip down there, and he's going to play down the middle. They're moving Domi over on the wing to be with McMahon. So maybe that'll help spark them a little bit, and they can just, give Ottawa a different look. I'm with you, though. I've liked the 4th line a lot, just the way that they've been able to battle. They're hard on the forecheck. They've been back-checking. They're creating turnovers, and they're getting scoring opportunities. I thought they were the best line for the Leafs in Game 5. I mean, Lawton almost had a goal. Lorentz almost scored on that unbelievable, he deked out the goaltender, and then I don't know what happened. He just couldn't tuck it into the wide open cage. But that's the type of stuff you expect to see from the top 6, and we're not getting it. You would love it if the bottom 6 could give you a little bit more, right? If Lorentz scores that goal in the last game, he's not expected to, but if he does, that's a 1-1 hockey game, right? That's a 1-1 game in the 3rd period instead of trailing. So it could be completely different. But I like the 4th line, but I'm with you. Need to see a little bit more out of Domi for sure, McMahon, and we'll see what Pontus Holmberg can do on that line now.
Well, look, it's Leafs game night, but I mean, the Ottawa Senators are due a lot of respect here. I mean, down 3-0, they could have folded. I really like how this team plays, and I'm going to give some credit to the coaching staff, Travis Green and his assistants. I think they've done a pretty good job here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right when Game 3 ended, Brady Tkachuk said, "Yeah, it's all good. Like we're calm as a cucumber, and we feel good about our game." Travis Green came out and said, "Look, these have been close games. Like we've been on the wrong side, but we like where we're at. Our 5-on-5 numbers are good. We just got to stick to the process." Well, they've stuck to the process. They've figured some things out. They've figured out how to toe the line. They're not taking as many penalties as they did in Game 1, and it's really, really allowed them to kind of establish themselves in this series and pull it back to, a possible sweep to now we're heading into Game 6, and the doubt is now on the minds of the Leafs as opposed to the Sens.
Well, just about a minute left. I mean, you hope the Leafs win this, but if they don't, boy, does that get really tight.
Oh, does it ever, Jim? Because the Leafs have yet to win a Game 7. They haven't done it. The only time they actually did win a series in the last 9 years was in a Game 6, and they closed it out, won 4-2. It was an overtime win against the Tampa Bay Lightning. John Tavares, we all remember it. So I think we need to see the same thing happen today, because I can tell you one thing, Taddy. I do not want to cancel my Saturday plans to be sitting there clenching my butt cheeks watching this one on Saturday night.
Well, if there is one, I'll go to it, but I'll have a very familiar feeling in my stomach for sure. We'll step out, line up the opening face-off for you next. Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Red and white, it runs through the veins of everyone who calls our country home. It brings us closer together, no matter where we are. This spring, patients across Canada need you to give a little red and white. Canadian Blood Services needs 450 new blood and plasma donors every day to fuel Canada's lifeline. Let's get Canada's blood pumping. Book an appointment today at blood.ca/450.
Why let only one family member enjoy Rogers 5G when you can get a third line for as low as $35 per month?
Gather round, family.
What now, Dad?
I switched you all to Rogers 5G plans and saved us big time. More 5G, more savings. Everyone wins.
So I only have to pay one bill? Way to go, Dad. Unexpected W.
Get more lines on Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network for as low as $35 per month on the third line. $75 service setup fee per line may apply with a home service. See rogers.com/plans for details. Rogers, we got you.
Wendy's most important deal of the day has a fresh lineup. Pick any 2 breakfast items for $4. New 4-piece French toast sticks, bacon or sausage wrap, biscuit or English muffin sandwiches, small hot coffee, and more. Limited time only at participating Wendy's, taxes extra.
If a good time sounds like, or golden hour tastes like, and getting back to yourself
feels like. You've got a sense of New Brunswick.
The next Lotto 649 Gold Ball jackpot is big. Like really big. It's a huge $56 million. And you could win the classic $5 million jackpot. That's 2 jackpots on every Lotto 649 ticket. The classic jackpot or the Gold Ball jackpot of either $56 million or the guaranteed $1 million prize. Buy in store today or at olg.ca.
Well, here we go again. Leafs had a 3-0 series lead, and as you are well aware, it's now 3-2. Leafs trying to figure out where their offense vacated to after getting shut out 4-0 in Game 5. The big guns silenced along with everybody else. The record in elimination games is bad, 1-13, and we could go on, but it's all about tonight. Will the Leafs get it done? Will they? Will they slay the dragon? Well, let's find out. Also, Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Oh, yes, they do. Getting set to face off in Ottawa. Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. Jim Taddy and Mike DiStefano, a.k.a. Al's brother, with you tonight. Stu has the night off, and we'll be joining Ralphie and Bonesy in about 6 or 7 minutes' time. On the way in, the lines tonight, Austin Matthews centering Marner and Nyes, Tavares centering Nylander and Pacioretty, Pontus Holmberg centering Domi and McMahon, Lawton centering Yarncroke and Lorentz, Riley, Carlo, McCabe, Tanev, Benoit, OEL, the defensive pairing. Stolar starts in goal. And AB, what do you make of that? Let's go over this again. What do you make of that Max Pacioretty move to the left side of the second line?
It was a little curious, I'll say. A little bit curious to see Pacioretty be the one to get moved up. I just didn't look like he, has much juice left in those legs, if you catch my drift. Jim, I thought maybe if they were going to make a change that it would probably be Bobby McMahon, who they put up there, who has some speed to get to those loose pucks and maybe give him a chance to win a couple of loose puck battles. The underlying numbers were more favorable when McMahon, Tavares, and Nylander were together. They had a 58% expected goals, average 4.22 goals per game when they were out there on the ice, as opposed to Pacioretty with those two, only a 49% expected goals. So I was a little surprised, but perhaps, they're looking for someone who can give that line a little more physicality. And that's, I guess, what Pacioretty would bring as opposed to Bobby McMahon.
I mean, everything that was said, going back to the shutout loss at Scotiabank Arena, has been sort of in a positive vein in that when you ask about the Pacioretty move to the left side of that Tavares Nylander line, his line would be, well, they looked good when they played together before the Pacioretty injury. When you talk about the series situation, we're still up 3-2. We're going to Ottawa where we've won before. There's not one negative word that's been uttered.
Which you like, right? You have to stay positive, and that's really what, the coach is supposed to do. And look, he's been here. He's done that. He took a team that was in last place on New Year's Day in St. Louis the year they won a cup and took them all the way to a Stanley Cup. So he knows a thing or two about when teams are, down and out and they're not done yet, right? They're not dead yet. And that's where he's sitting here saying, we're in a pretty good spot. Like, we only need to win one game to advance. Ottawa, they still got to get 2 off us. So yeah, they are in a better spot. I believe they are the better team if they can play to expectation. We just need to see that tonight, because what happened in Game 5, that wasn't it, Jim. That wasn't it. But we'll see. They get a chance to do it again.
Yeah, and I think you'll agree with me. I knew at some point they'd get into a playoff pickle. I wasn't expecting it in the first round, however.
No, I think most people were hoping, at least, especially once they went up 3-0, hoping that Toronto could make some quick work, maybe get a little rest, and gear up for what is anticipated to be a tough battle against, now we know, the Florida Panthers. But no, they got to make things a lot harder on themselves, like they typically do. And instead of making quick work in 4 or 5 games, we've hit 6. God, I hope this doesn't hit 7, though.
Oh, you and me both. So let's do it. Just an impromptu yes guy, no guy. Yes, of course, being the positive thing. So what would be a yes guy for you in the first 10 minutes tonight?
Oh, yes, guy, let's score a goal. How about a goal? They went 60 minutes without one in the last game. If they could score in the first 10 minutes, I think you like the chance of that. Because if you look at the Ottawa Senators, they're far more comfortable when they score the first goal of the hockey game. You look at the regular season, that's kind of been the difference in a lot of their year. I believe they're 35-6 when they scored first this year, 35-6, and they have the highest points percentage in the NHL when they score first. So if you're Toronto, you score early, you kind of cut the noise at this Canadian Tire Center, and you kind of put those demons, get them a little bit quieter throughout the game. So that to me would be kind of a key and something I want to see tonight from the Leafs.
Yeah, the no guy would be Ottawa scoring. Here's what I want to see. I want to see the Leafs play hard, and this happened in the last game where they played hard, but when they didn't score, they seemed to accept it. But I need them to find another gear if they run into that again where they're having trouble scoring. Play harder, don't back off.
Yeah, and I assume you're looking at the big boys when you talk about that, right? Because I like what the fourth line did, right? Lorentz, Lawton, Yarncroc, I thought they did pretty well. Dump the puck in and crash and bang along the boards, get opportunities. It's the top six. It's the big boys, that core four that have continued to fade in these closeout games. You need them to step up tonight. Absolutely crucial that they play one of the best games in the postseason of their careers, because there's a big time circle on those guys tonight, and they need to come up big for the Buds.
Absolutely. Game 6 minutes away. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leaf.
The Kentucky Derby is here, and VSiN is covering all the action with a live show Saturday beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm Mike Somich. Join me and Aaron Halterman for a special live edition of VSiN at the Track. We'll give you the latest news, handicap the race, and give you our best bets, plus interviews with guests like legendary announcer Dave Johnson. Join us live for VSiN at the Track Saturday starting at 4 p.m. Eastern on VSiN. We'll help you make smart bets and enjoy the 151st Run for the Roses on SiriusXM Channel 158 and the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something. December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not, and then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. In case you missed it, on NHL Network Radio.
Buchnevich for the deflection. They shoot. They score! Jimmy Snuggerud. His first is a blue. 3-0 St. Louis. It's a power play goal. And in the biggest NHL game of his young career, he scores his first NHL goal. Smile away, kid. Smile away.
NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
Have wrestled with this one for a while, but I believe we've got our top 5 player of all time. Gretzky, Lemieux, or Howe, and I think it's Sidney Crosby for all-around play. Any discussion, no matter how you slice that loaf of bread, Sidney Crosby's in that discussion. Talk about high-level consistency.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game, and when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken, don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home, and it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Liverpool are your 2025 Premier League champions, and no one covered their journey like SiriusXM FC.
This year, they've been absolutely untouchable.
This team was the epitome of a team. From every big moment.
Liverpool with a chance. They put it in.
Hey,
hockey fans, Maple Leafs fans from all over the world, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. It's Game 6 against the Ottawa Senators in the Battle of Ontario, and we have got to get the win tonight and end this series. We do not want to go back to Toronto for Game number 7. It was a tough game, loss in Ottawa in overtime, and then the Buds did not show up in game number 5 on Tuesday. But it's a different story tonight, where I know that Coach Berube will have this team fired up and locked in, ready to get after it, because we all know it's time we have to do our part here on the channel and cheer our Maple Leafs on as loud as we can. Let's get that chant started. Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! Let's end this series now!
Including all of the postseason for the Maple Leafs. 2.25 is goals against average, .899. Save percentages drop. Linus Olmark is 2-3, 2.80. And his save percentage has increased at .883, including a 4-0 shutout in game number 5. So the Maple Leafs will be in tough. They know that, but they are very much in the driver's seat as they have the Ottawa Senators down 3-2. We're ready for the opening face-off. They're at center ice, the Leafs to the right, and the Ottawa Senators are to the left. As Francis Charron leans in and he drops the puck. We're underway and glad you're along with us. Leafs get to it and send it down into Ottawa territory. Olmark playing it back on the boards, and Nyes with a pretty good hit as it goes back to the net for Marner. Marner back around the boards. It comes out in front. Nyes couldn't get a shot away. And now Matthews diligently working on the near boards. Gets it back, and it's kicked out at center ice finally by Ottawa. Shot right back in again by Brandon Carlo of the Maple Leafs. Puck comes around the boards and out into the center ice area. Ridley Gregg gets it in across the line for the Ottawa Senators. Pinto trying to get it in around the boards. And McCabe has it now, getting it up on the right side for Tanev. Tanev, a pass on the near wing, chipped along the boards to the line, but it won't clear. And it's back in now, courtesy of Brady Tkachuk into the Leaf end. John Tavares given a bump there by Giroux. Got it out at center, but it is shot right back in again. Stolars couldn't slow it up, but McCabe gets it back to the net for Tanev. Around on the wall, it'll be deflected out, and here's Tavares. Down the right wing boards and into the slot area. Had it taken off his stick on a pretty good defensive play made along the wall by Giroux. Puck back at the Toronto blue line. Benoit sending the puck down into the Ottawa zone. Knocked down on the play was Clevin. Puck in along the end boards. Leafs fourth line out there. Lawton trying to get it in front. Lorenz has pried it free. Can't get it back to the point cleanly, so he sends it around back of the net. Played out into the center ice area to the far wing. Oliver Ekman-Larsson got there to have it forced in. And now Batherson trying to get a hit in, but fails. And Benoit quickly gets it ahead, and it's deflected down into Ottawa territory. Pretty good pace here in the early going.
You really get the feeling the first goal of this game is going to be huge.
Played down into the Toronto end. Carlos sending it around the boards to the far side, and it's punched down into Ottawa territory. Here's Bobby McMahon getting to it. McMahon coming out in front, and that was stopped by Olmark, and it's gone up into the screen. The line's been picked off one of the Ottawa defenders, and Bobby McMahon gets the first decent scoring chance and the first shot on goal.
Well, it was Jake Sanderson who seemed to get held up by the official right in front of the Ottawa bench, and that allowed Bobby McMahon to pick the puck up at the right wing boards and just take it to the net. And I'm not sure if Olmark got a piece of this or McMahon, a bit of a rolling puck as he drove to the front of the goal.
And Bobby McMahon was looked to be possibility of a player that was going to shine in the postseason, but he's still looking for his first goal. Puck in the center ice area for Nyes. Now to Matthews. Matthews got it to the line, but couldn't get it in over the line. Marner knocks his man down from behind, and Brandon Carlo gets to it on the far side, and it's played into the near corner now for Morgan Riley. Riley sending it quickly up the boards, but cut off. Brought in again by the Senators into the corner for Pinto. Around back of the net, but Carlo is there first. Carlo, with his size, just takes it away and plays it gingerly up out at center ice on the near wing to allow a change of players. Zub getting it back. Up on the wing to the line. Batted back out at center and down into Ottawa territory. Played up on the wing by Shabbat. That goes down into the Leaf end. Stolar's out of the goal to leave it for Tannen, who got it up on the wing for Nylander. The birthday boy comes to center. Flips it in on the right side, and now here's Pacioretty getting it out in front of the net, but no one there to do any damage. Pacioretty after it, but now around on the near wing, it'll come to Shabbat. Behind the goal in the Ottawa zone. Jensen gets it up on the wing, and out come the Senators. Stützle on the wing for Shabbat. Blocked there nicely by Benoit. In against the boards, Pacioretty ties his man up. But he's over here on the left wing side, and now back behind the net. It comes up on the wing, and now Pacioretty has it at center. He's going to shoot it into the Ottawa end. We had a stoppage of play yet? Oh, just the one shot, right? Went up into the screen. Brought out at center ice now by Mantipalo. The Senators get it down into the Leaf end. Down on the boards, backhanded by Cousins. Blocked there. Carlo playing it back of the goal. Morgan Rielly in the near corner. Got it ahead. And it is set out at center ice, but it's intercepted by Cousins, and he shoots it back into the Leaf end. Rielly plays it back up on the left wing boards. But unable to get it out on that side was Lorenz, and then a hit by Rielly takes down one of the Ottawa players. That has the fans up in arms a little bit. Not as many Leaf fans, I would think, in the building tonight. On a Tuesday evening, down into the Toronto zone. A running hit there by Zetterlund, but the Leafs get it out for McCabe. He's in across the line. Dropping now for Holmberg, and a shot. Big rebound in front, and Domi couldn't get a stick on it. Sent back along the boards then by Tanev, but it is pushed out at center ice by Ottawa. Pontus Holmberg got it ahead and played in over the line for McMahon, but out of his reach. Olmark flips it around the boards to the far wing, and the Senators will carry to center ice, and Shane Pinto gets it into the Toronto zone. Leafs have had the first two shots on goal as it's played out at center ice. Onto the wing now for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Back of the net for Matthews. Matthews curls into the far corner. Sends it towards the net. It went off a body and wide. Played off the boards and out at center ice. Here are the Senators back in their own zone. Montipalo getting it off now for Clevin. Clevin gets it ahead on the wing for Shane Pinto. Pinto hits the line just onside. Shot was blocked. Marner couldn't handle it. Now he does, and gets it to Matthews, who looks up ice and gets it ahead for Nyes. Nyes had it knocked off his stick, but Rielly's into the rush. Rielly centers, and Marner couldn't get a stick on it. Marner against the boards for Matthews. Back of the net, tries to center, looking there for Tavares coming off the bench. And the Senators have it, and Stützle trying to break it out at center. Dishes it back to his defense. Jensen shoots it in. Shot from a sharp angle. That is handled by Stolars. It goes into the corner. Back to the point. Just kept in there. Played around the boards now by Ottawa. Chopped at by the Leafs, but not cleared. Played around to the far wing. Nylander getting there first. Tries to play it off and does. And a long lead pass. Gets ahead now for Pacioretty. And his shot goes up into the screen. And we introduce the other half of the broadcasting crew. Mr. James Rowell.
Yeah, I was one that spoke a little earlier in the broadcast.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
I know. Thank God I was.
Well, I can't have you on anymore. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050.
Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125, marks President Trump's first 100.
Hey, Leafs fans, Game 6. Chat's already fired up. We're going crazy in the chat cheering on our Maple Leafs. Now's the time. Please exit out of that chat and like this stream. Hit that thumbs up button. It's going to help bring more hockey fans and Maple Leafs fans here to our awesome community where we're donating 100% of our revenue to SickKids Hospital as part of our Playoff Pulse campaign. Now, with that being said, please share this link out as well. We've got to get this out on social media. Please help us. Share it out to your friends. Send a text message. Send an email. Go out on the team social boards. Whatever. We really appreciate all of your help in sharing this and getting more people here in the chat and building this awesome community. Now let's get back to the hockey. Come on, Leafs. We've got to get the win tonight. It's Game 6. We're not going back for Game 7. Go, Leafs, go!
Play, then we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not, and then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team. Bigger to listen to TSN 1050 everywhere you want it.
No score in the hockey game. Just nicely underway.
And I do believe they've taken a shot away from the Leafs. So Bobby McMahon, Joe, I think that was the one that was taken off the board.
All right. Puck back of the Ottawa goal. Scramble there, but it's cleared into the corner, and Sanderson starts up on the near wing. Got it through center and in over the line for Gregg. Ridley Gregg is in, and that was stopped by goaltender Stolars. And Nyes takes it back at center ice and gets it down into Ottawa territory. First scoring chance there for Ottawa. And Stolars comes up big.
Well, you don't like that coming off the Matthews group 5-on-5.
Anderson getting it out at center. Played to the far wing and in. Here's Stützle into the slot area. And that went off the skate of McCabe and went wide of the goal. Leafs get it out into the center ice area. But Stützle sends it right back in again. McCabe run at by Tkachuk. And then Tanev turns the tables on Giroux and nails him into the boards. Tanev working the wall but can't come up with it. Out of the corner, Giroux. Back to the point to Nick Jensen. Over to Giroux again. Back to Shabbat. A bad shot. And is there a penalty? Well, when you hear that stupid music in this arena, it usually means the Leafs are going to the penalty box.
Sure where it happened. If it was in the corner to the right of Stolars, we still have no indication. Stolars had the best save of the period for him off Ridley Gregg.
Showing the two scoring chances, but was Tavares a high stick on Giroux? Yep. All right.
Pretty good sales job.
So the Leafs are a man short. Penalty kill brought to you by Alpine Credits. You own your own home and need a loan. Oh, excuse me. Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
John Tavares is saying I probably should have just elbowed him in the face.
Yeah.
Got away with it.
Everybody seems to be getting away with that these days. Leafs send it up the boards and then clear to the line, but not out. Here's Sanderson in along the left wing board. Stützle getting it back to Sanderson. He walks into the slot with a wrist shot. That didn't make it through. Tanev takes his man to the boards, and so does McCabe, and he got it freed up for Marner, and Marner sends it all the way down the ice on goal, and Ullmark will clear it into the corner. Minute 30 to go in the power play. Scoreless here in the first period. Brought out of the zone by Stützle. Tim Stützle to the line, had it deflect off his skate, had it corralled now by the Maple Leafs, and Steven Lorenz will bounce a shot down on goal, and in around back of the net is Lawton coming out of it. Lawton will send it around into the far corner. There's Yarncrook. Yarncrook trying to protect it. Yarncrook stick handles it back into the neutral zone, and the Leafs are going to play with it a little bit, and it's going to be deflected ahead, and now Yarncrook has it again. Yarncrook playing it back to the Toronto blue line. Benoit getting it back again from his defense partner, and now he sends it out and down the ice, and that ate up the better part of 25 seconds. So it'd be like 21 seconds. Well, maybe 22.
Or the better part of.
36 seconds left in the penalty. You're not helping at all. Down into the corner, it goes into the Toronto zone. They bank it off the boards, push to the line, out at center. Nyes breaking. Nyes down the left wing, a little stutter step in the backhand. Didn't get much on it though. And Ullmark an easy save, but a great rush nonetheless by Matthew Nyes. A dozen seconds left in the penalty now as it's down into Ottawa territory.
Leafs have not scored a shorthanded goal in the series. Played up on the right wing now for Zetterlund. A shot juggled, knocked away by Stolars. Played up on the wing, and Marner got it to Tavares, who's out of the penalty box, and he'll send it down into the offensive end. Marner goes in after it with a hit on the boards. Has it in his skates, but can't kick it to Tavares as Sanderson has dug it out. Sanderson will get it out at center ice. That's turned over. Leafs have to tag up, and now here's Zub getting it up on the right wing boards, but not in. Riley is there to launch it right back into Ottawa territory. Tavares being hooked onto there by Zub. Should have dragged the stick up around his face and got a penalty. Now brought out by Zub in over the line for Stützle. Stützle is nailed and knocked down by Jake McCabe. And out comes Pacioretty. Up ahead for Willie. Nylander in over the line. Into the slot. Passes off on the wing. Trying to get it back. Nylander in on goal. They get way at it and they shot it wide from right on the doorstep. Willie's got to shoot that puck. Flipped down on goal. Cleared into the corner by Stolars. Chabot playing it around the boards. 9 minutes to go in the period. Leafs have it at their own blue line. Pushed up on the wing by Pontus Holmberg. One-handed to the line, but not in. Now the Leafs almost had too many men on the ice, but an adroit move by the defenseman to jump back onto the bench prevented that. Puck was right at the Toronto blue line. Leafs come away with a loose puck. Benoit winding and shooting, and it's off the stick of Ullmark and up into the screen, out of play.
You're right. The Willie Nylander's got the puck to the right of Ullmark and tries to go back the other way. Almost works. Ullmark got his pad on the first one, and then I think it was Max Domi. No,
hit the post.
It was
Pacioretty, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Pacioretty that got the second rebound and put it off the post and out the other side.
No score. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Touchdown. Great catch. Give me a high five. 5 minutes later. Interception. Awesome play. Give me a high five. 2 hours later.
Hey, Insiders. Now's the time for us to talk about our Playoff Pulse campaign. Thank you for being a part of it. Just by being here, you're making a difference, as 100% of our ad revenue is going directly to SickKids Hospital in Toronto through our Playoff Pulse campaign for life-saving treatment and care and leading research that helps all over the world. You guys have seen the video that we play here from SickKids, and I urge you to take a look at the link that is pinned in the chat and donate if you are able. Thank you so much for helping us make a difference in our community. Now let's get back to the hockey. Come on, Maple Leafs. It's time to get this win and not have to go back to Toronto until the second round. Let's go, buds. Come on, Maple Leafs fans. Cheer up loud. Let's go.
The Playoff Pulse campaign on Toronto Sports Insider is uniting fans worldwide through the thrill of NHL and NBA playoffs. Every game, every fan, every moment counts. The link is pinned in the chat and in the description. Check out our campaign page. Donate if you can, or share it with friends. Holy Mackinac! Every click helps SickKids heal the future. First period action in Game 6. And these two teams know who they will host or travel to in the next round, as the Florida Panthers dismissed, and I mean dismissed, Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning were one of the hottest teams down the stretch. Florida was riddled with injuries and played very sporadically. Now the Leafs win the draw, pass in front of the net, batted in front of the goal, and unable to get a backhander away there was the Leafs in front of the net with Pacioretty. Nylander can't get it away from Giroux, sends it in. Out of the net, Stolars to play into the far corner, and it is Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting it ahead for Benoit. Benoit shoots it in. Slowed up by Ullmark. Ripped around the boards. It'll come out at center. And breaking with it is Stützle. Stützle in on the left wing side with a shot. That deflected and went wide of the net. It comes up on the near wing. Leafs unable to get to it. Nylander does, but it's played back to the point. Kept in by Ottawa. Far side, Clevin can't get a shot. Curls back. Still with it as a new defenseman on now as it goes to Montipalo. Montipalo working around back of the net. Sends a shot to the goal, and Stolarz come across.
Boy.
Actually, the proper English would have been came across and caught that and held it for a face-off.
You know what happened? Ottawa just got away with a holding the stick penalty. Chris Tanev tries to go to the far post, and his stick, David Perron, has got it clamped under his arm. And Tanev turned to the official as if to say, are we paying attention here? And that led to a scoring opportunity, Joe.
7:44 left to play in the first period. 6-4 the shots favoring Toronto. And the faceoff is in the Leaf zone to the right. And the draw won by Lawton, and it's cleared out and down into Ottawa territory. Montipalo taken to the boards by Lorenz. Puck along the boards, broken up by the Leafs who keep it in. Far side, Carlo a shot, and it's into the chest of Ullmark as this fourth line continues to be absolutely excellent.
Well, I mean, they're out for a defensive zone face-off, right? Win the face-off, get it down into the Ottawa zone, go after it. They're able to keep it in and get a scoring opportunity out of it. Scott Lott just misses the waist-high redirection attempt. But now they go to the bench. And you put out
Matthews, who knocked a puck on the near boards, but Nyes couldn't get to it. Puck at the Leaf blue line now, and Riley starting back with a pass up on the right wing, kicked off the skate of Marner, but it was from the wrong side of the center ice red line, and an icing call is coming here. It was a clever little play by Marner to try and redirect it to one of his teammates, but he needed to be another foot closer to the Ottawa end of the rink. So a defensive zone face-off now for Austin Matthews. The draw scrummed. Leafs come away with it. Marner breaks out at center. He'll chip it in this time just to get it in over the line. Played back, and Marner steals it back. Couldn't get it in front of the net. And out come the Senators now as they break up on the left wing. And Ridley Gregg gets it down into the corner. Riley punching it back up on the wall. Off a skate. Puck comes to the near wing. Matthews trying to get there. It's cleared back into the corner to the side of the goal. Quickly sliced into the corner then by Stolarz. Back of the net, Matthews playing to the far side, but no one over there. It'll come around to the near side. Nyes slow to get there. It goes to the other side, and Marner just stayed there and now makes an outlet pass, and Matthews comes to center. Matthews is going to flip it towards the net. It is caught by goaltender Ullmark rather easily, and that brings an offensive zone face-off with 6:28 to go in a scoreless first period. Leafs with 6 of the 9 shots on goal.
Leafs did score the opening goal in the first 3 games of this series. Or no, I guess just the first 2. What I'm thinking of now. First 2 at home, they obviously opened the scoring.
And closed the scoring in overtime on a couple of wins. Games 2 and 3. Senators win this face-off, and a long lead pass has gone down into the Leaf end. Stolarz playing to Benoit. Benoit's pass was blocked. It goes back of the net. Domi getting it freed up for Ekman Larsson. Off on the wing, and it is going to be punched out at center ice, and Holmberg will roll it down into Ottawa territory. McMahon with a good hit to free up the puck. Tried to get it in front. It's gone high. Too high. Too high. Too high. Went into the crowd. Face-off coming in the Ottawa zone.
Game 3, it was going back to who scored first. Remember, Claude Giroux scored the power play goal from the high slot before Matthew Nyes tied it on the power play goal. Matthews gave the Leafs the 2-1 lead early in the third. But anyway, the Leafs scored the opening goal in the first 2, but Ottawa struck first in the last 3 games of this series.
6 minutes to play in the period. And the draw scrum by the Leafs, and now Nylander circles into the slot, got a weak shot away, and it was partially blocked anyway, and the Senators get it out at center. Nylander now forced to play defense here as a pass comes into the side of the goal, and it's turned away as Stützle couldn't come up with it. Cleared out at center by Pacioretty. Launched high back into the Toronto zone. Tanev, bank pass for McCabe, and McCabe starts out with a pass out at center to Nylander. Nylander launches it high, bouncing puck that Tavares can't get to. Pacioretty into the corner with a hit. Looked like Tavares got spun off his skates, and now Shabbat settling things down as both teams are taking the opportunity to change. 5:17 to play in a scoreless first period. Shabbat with the puck in his own zone. Really, for the first time in this series, the Senators are experiencing a little bit of pressure. They had got in, and it was a big story just to get in. Now, all of a sudden, a chance to send this to a Game 7, and they have the pressure of home ice and that activity already as well. Nyes can't get the puck out. Riley does, sends it high to the far wing. No one there, and the Senators play it back out at center ice. And Zub will have to regroup it as it comes back into Ottawa territory. Zub, a pass through neutral ice. That went off a body to the side of the goal. Tucked around back of the net by Stolars. Played around back of the net, but it is Lawton getting there first for Toronto. And he's going to airmail a high pass to center ice. Knocked down by the Senators, and Clevin shoots it back in. Round on the boards, Stolars thought that was icing, and that had a word with the linesman as it's played into the far corner. Oliver Ekman-Larsson runs into a traffic jam. It comes back to the point. Long shot, rolling in front of the net, knocked into the corner. Lorenz taking it to the boards, now trying to pin it there. Still has it in his skates, looking for an outlet, but the Sens dig it free. They get it back on the wing. Trying to come out with it is Gaudette. Gaudette back to the point. Long shot coming, and it's high and wide of the goal. On the near boards, Yarncrook couldn't get to it. Lorenz has it now on the far wing, and he gets it airmailed to center ice, and then takes a piece out of the forechecker who came at him after the fact. Both teams are changing. Senators lift it right back in with Clevin getting it in deep. Can't see how much time's left. There's a graphic on. 3:19 left to play in the period now. McCabe around back of the goal. His backhand pass comes out. Domi tried to kick it to the zone and is successful in doing so. A hit there along the boards. Pontus Holmberg after it. So's Bobby McMahon. McMahon had the best scoring chance the Leafs have had. Knocked down on the play was Holmberg. It comes back from Domi into his corner, though. He tries to reverse it for McMahon. McMahon curls out, tried to reverse it again, but it was cut off there by Cousins. Cousins can't get it out. Domi knocks it in a little deeper. Now Shabbat turns with it, and Shabbat, with time, is able to lift it out at center. Senators can't get to the red line, and the Maple Leafs have control, and they're getting a change going, and Nylander skates it back in over the line on the left wing. Willie looking with a pass in front of the net for Tavares, and it was knocked away, and out comes Stützle. Stützle for Tkachuk. Tkachuk into the slot, back for Stützle, and he missed the pass and crashes into the end boards. Leafs don't get it out, though, and now they'll play it to center ice. Good scoring chance there for Ottawa. Pass by Riley. Up ahead for Tavares. Tavares to the right wing side. Brandon Carlo shoots it in. Down the boards is Nyes. Crowd reacting to something that we cannot see because the camera is not on it. Oh, it's Brady Tkachuk going to the bench. And the coach is a little upset. Something must have happened in the collision with Brandon Carlo.
That must have been a late hit by Tkachuk. Travis Green doesn't like it. Interference is going to be the call, so the Leafs will go to their first power play.
We apologize. We can't see the officials with their arms up to let you know that there's a delayed penalty coming, even if it's late, which it was there.
Boy, it was really late. The puck was already around behind the net into the far corner. when Tkachuk laid the hit on Carlo. Leafs power play when we come back.
Do the best we can. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050.
A place in the UEFA Champions League final is on the line, and all the drama is on Sirius XM FC.
That's out of this world!
After a 6-goal classic in Spain, Barcelona and Inter meet in Milan with the tie level and everything to play for.
Duran is there again. He scored again.
It's a Champions League semi-final. Inter versus Barca. Tuesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart, the most disappointing team this season.
All right, insiders, there we go. I got the hat. I got the hat changed for the kids. There you go, Rusty Bumper. Good to see you. Dave Strange, wow. 3 super chats now from Dave Strange. Thank you so much for that. Unbelievable. There's the heart on that one. Unbelievable. As well, make sure you guys and gals check out our link that is pinned in the chat. Help us raise money for SickKids Hospital. You can donate directly to SickKids in our Playoff Pulse campaign just by clicking that link. If you can't donate, it's all good. I get it. Times are tough. Share it out. Share this link out. Let's go get more hockey fans here in the chat to hang out with us. There you go. There's Connor. What's up, Connor? Peter Brody. Go Sens. Go, Peter. Appreciate the help there the other night with that, what you were saying there. Appreciate that. But, man, Leafs got to get this done tonight. All right, let's get back to the hockey. It's tough with Joe and Jim not in the arena. You can't hear. They can't see what's going on. They're back, and even the commercials are cutting out mid-commercial. All right, back to the hockey. Go, Leafs, go.
Ottawa. Marner starts out. Again going. Oh, and a giveaway almost, but no. Matthews is able to settle it down, but a bouncing puck to his left. Comes in over the line. Now to Nyes. Nyes on the near boards, trying to free it up. He can't, and it's out at center ice for Greg, but he can't get free either. Now Matthews back in over the line with a pass to Nylander on the right wing. Nylander with a pass into the slot area that was knocked away. Tavares is able to keep it alive. Gives it off to Nylander and now to Matthews. Near circle, back into the slot. Top of the circle, back to Matthews. Matthews with a pass and scores! That was just a pass for Matthew Nyes, and I think it makes the back of the net. And the Leafs end a long drought with a power play goal.
0 for 6 on the power play coming into this game, having given up a couple of shorthanded goals. But Austin Matthews, Joe, this is how they were successful earlier in the series. Get the puck to the net with traffic in front. And yeah, this is not a blast. It's from the high slot.
He's looking for a deflection from Nyes.
And Matthews just slides it, blocker side, along the ice with Nyes in front. And Ullmark, you can tell by the reaction, doesn't pick it up. And the Leafs have opened the scoring in Ottawa.
Isn't the mark 0 for 30 somewhere in here, Mr. Ralph?
Oh, in, certain games?
Yes. In games that they had a chance to eliminate the opponent, they'd gone 0 for 30 on the power play. Well, that ends here. And the Leafs own a 1-0 lead. Cousins gets it to the Leaf blue line. Knocked back there by the Leafs. And now Lorenz, with time on his hands, is able to lift it down with less than a minute to go in the period. Montepallo has it around back of the Ottawa goal. Marner draws the lone assist on the Matthews tally. And the Maple Leafs own the lead with 26 seconds to go in the period. Pass deflects into the corner on the far side in the Leaf end. Ripped around the boards then by Toronto and deflected out and down into Ottawa territory. Tavares hustling down to get a hit in on Shabbat. Spun around for Nick Jensen. Tavares trying to dig it free or just hold it there. 6 seconds left in the period. Comes back, and it's gone by everybody. It's going to go down into the Leaf end. And Stolars will come out to play it to eliminate the remainder of time. Austin Matthews from Mitch Marner on the power play. It's 1-0 Toronto.
Yeah, the benefit of Ottawa getting the first power play, you kill that off. Ottawa didn't like the call, but it was Brady Tkachuk trying to finish the check, but way late on Brandon Carlo that set up the Leafs' first man advantage of the night. And really, Joe, when you look at it again from a defensive standpoint, just 3 shots on goal by the Senators. They had a couple. The one Stützle going to the net. Just the redirection on a 2-on-1 was their best scoring opportunity. But you like the way the Leafs really just looked after their own end first and were able to take advantage of the man advantage a little later.
Austin Matthews, who is no stranger to goal scoring in Ottawa, has got the Leafs on the board here in Game 6, 1-0. Michael DeStefano is joining Jim Taddy with our intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 10.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most...
Okay. I like it. We changed the hat and good things happen. Good stuff. Where's my microphone? That's probably what you guys probably could barely even hear me. Did I even put my microphone on? I didn't. I don't even know where my microphone is. Oh well. I think you can hear me enough. So it's picking up something. There it is. All right. Go Leafs, go. That's a good start, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good start. I'll take it. There we go. All right. Appreciate that, Peter. Appreciate that. Chris in the house. Jeff Mitterling. Appreciate that. Brandon, what's up, Brandon? Blue Jays shirt again, and that's why the Leafs scored. Hey, the Blue Jays came back last night. That was crazy. The Jays were getting crushed last night. Now they tonight they're 0-0 in the 3rd inning. We just started up the stream on Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. I'll have to get that link here for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. That is live right now on Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. Share, copy. Here we go. All right, so here we go. Playoff Pulse Hockey at this link here. There you go. 229 likes. Lisa Aiello, thank you for reminding everybody to hit that like button. It truly does help bring more people to the chat. The algorithm likes it when people are engaged with the chat and engaged by hitting the like button, sharing this link out, all of that cool stuff. That's why we continue to grow this amazing community, game in and game out. So thank you, even so much that the bots show up. Get on out of here. Peace, bot. There you go. Wrenches, do your thing. Do your thing. Richard, my man, I saw your email there. You're on my list, brother. I'm getting there. It's been busy, man. We've been busy here. But, all right. The chat's fired up. Our buds are fired up. Now let's go get a second goal. It was a good 20 minutes of hockey there. And now hopefully we'll get this through. And I'd say let's just rock it out in this second period. Make it nice and easy on the nerves the rest of the game. I think I could be good with that. Well, we'll take it to intermission. It's time for me to get some Johnny Walker. Done driving for tonight. Time to have a drink. All right, we'll see you all in the chat. Go refill your cocktails. Go fill up your drink, your juice, whatever, your pop. And we'll see you back in the chat.
Into the slot, top of the circle, back to Matthews. Matthews with a pass and scores! That was just a pass for Matthew Nyes, and I think it makes the back of the net. And the Leafs end a long drought with a power play goal.
And it is 1-0 for the Leafs over Ottawa after 20 minutes of play. After 20 is brought to you by Subaru. Hurry to the all-in-one event for great offers and experience all the features that come standard in a Subaru. Jim Taddy and Mike DeStefano with you. Leafs up 1-0 on that power play goal from Matthews at 18:50 from Marner and Nylander. And Mike, I mean, that is, it was a pass shot. It was like playing Squirrel from the other end of the rink. He threaded the needle.
He certainly did, and it's what you needed to see, Jim. We talked about what are the two things that the Leafs need to do. They got to score, they got to get those goals from the big boys, and they got to win the special teams battle. Well, they kill off a penalty in that first period, and then they make the Sens pay for that dumb late penalty by Brady Tkachuk late in the first period, and Toronto capitalizes, right? Austin Matthews notices Ullmark maybe peeking the wrong way, decides I'm going to shoot this short side, see if we can thread the needle, and he sure did, and Leafs up 1-0 heading into the frame.
Yeah, special teams, because on the Leafs penalty kill, Ottawa, there was a miscommunication between the goaltender Ullmark and his defenseman, cost him about 45 seconds. And on the Leafs power play, Marner almost gave it away coming out of the zone. Man, that was scary. I mean, that was so nonchalant. It was like, whoa, guy, wake up. And then they go down and eventually score. So, I mean, there's the sway. Two things that favored the Leafs, and 1-0 is the lead, out shooting Ottawa 7-3. But both teams had some coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't opportunities before that.
Yeah, I mean, the Tim Stützle opportunity on the 3-on-2, really good job of Jake Sanderson jumping up into the rush to create the odd man rush for them, and Stützle just couldn't corral it, wasn't able to really get a shot off. It kind of rolls off the end of his stick, and if he would have got any type of elevation on that shot, there was about 80% of the net he could have hit to open up the scoring, but the Leafs get a good bounce, wasn't able to corral it. It goes into the corner, and Toronto able to get the puck out. And they did that a lot in this period. They didn't allow Ottawa to really set up anything offensively. The Leafs did a good job of forcing Ottawa to dump pucks in. They stayed on top of them, and they got pucks out of the zone. That's exactly what they need to do. Just limit the chances, limit the opportunities, win those board battles, and get the puck out and try and spend a little more time on the offensive end. I thought they did that in the first period.
And how about the start? I mean, the first 15 minutes of that period, real rough and tumble, very fast. Both teams had all kinds of energy and some great hits. Yeah, there was some really good pace to that opening kind of 10 minutes of the game, and both sides with a couple of scoring opportunities. Pacioretty, I thought, was gonna score there. He was hits the post, but that's exactly what you heard everyone talking about going into this Game 6, right? What do they need to do to try and score more goals? They didn't get any in Game 5, so they wanted to attack the net. And I think they've done that. They attacked the net, they shot, and they tried to get rebounds. Pacioretty gets a rebound opportunity, gets a shot, beat the goaltender, but couldn't beat the post, and it remained goalless. But again, going to the net, Matthew Nyes on the power play provides the screen, and that allows, Ullmark to try to have to peek his way into finding where Matthews was going with the puck. And when he peeked left, Matthews went right. And that really was kind of the difference. I don't know about you, but when we got to about the 13-minute mark, I could feel the energy sort of leave both teams. And I thought, well, probably a scoreless first period. The Tkachuk penalty, I don't know where that came from, but it didn't make a lot of sense. Not a smart one, and that's kind of two games in a row where you've seen two energy players for the Ottawa Senators maybe cross the line a little bit. Ridley Gregg did it late in the game in Game 5, and, Toronto wasn't able to capitalize, and you knew if they got another opportunity where someone makes a boneheaded play, that's exactly what that, like Brady Tkachuk, you need to know, like, that puck is long gone for Brandon Carlo. You are going to get called if you dump someone on their butt, and that's exactly what ends up happening. At Toronto, there are a lot of talk going into this game. 0 for 30 on power play opportunities in their last in closeout games, elimination games, and they made sure that they made good on that one, and they are now broke that streak, and they're 1 for 1. To this point in the last power play. The book is closed on 0 for 30. Yeah. It's now 1 for 1. I really liked how the Leafs played. I liked how they played in their zone. As you say, they kept them to the outside for the most part. I think that, when we go back to all the pregame sound we had, they pretty well followed the game plan, didn't they? 100%. And that's what they had to do, right? They definitely had to do that. You look, they only gave up 2 high danger chances throughout the game. Toronto outshot them 7-3 through the first 20 minutes and only gave up really one glorious opportunity, I would say, and that was the Stützle chance on the 3-on-2. Outside of that, Ottawa didn't really muster up a whole lot, and you hope that Toronto can keep
keep up that type of play for another 40 minutes.
And there's that Craig Berube calmness about, and how the Leafs have played this year, waiting for the opportunity, not hanging back, but seizing the opportunity when it presents itself. Obviously, it didn't work in Game 5, but so far it's working well in Game 6.
It certainly is. And here's a stat for you, Jimmy. The Leafs, 34-8-2 this season when they scored first. The Senators, 10-24-7 when they got scored on first. So Toronto, the key to the game was to get the first goal and make them play catch-up. They did that. Now they got to close it out in the final 40.
Yeah, plenty of hockey left. 1-0 Leafs over Ottawa after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Touchdown. Great catch. Give me a high five. 5 minutes later. Interception. Awesome play. Give me a high five. 2 hours later.
Eddie, did you order 20 high five specials from 2 for 1 pizza?
You kept asking for high fives.
I meant, never mind. I'm hungry.
High five. Buy any large traditional pizza and get up to 3 medium 1-topping pizzas for just $5 each.
2 for 1 pizza. 2 for 1. This is the year. Toronto will be marching the cup down our city streets, and Manicure Men's Grooming Lounge wants you to look and feel your best while you celebrate. Elevate your grooming game with manicures, pedicures, facials, wax, and laser hair removal. Check out Stark's Barbering at Manicure Plus 2. Book your appointment today. Let's party like it's 1967. Come in for a free men's express pedicure, manicure, and Manicure Plus. 4 locations in Toronto. Online at manicure.ca.
Your sneakers are staring directly at you. You try to look away, but you can't. You're lace to face. They're saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and your six-pack won't be either.
All right, insiders, there you go. There's the website behind me with the fresh update. We got the new logo going there with the 100K because we're so close, 97,564. As I say that, we went up one. Thank you for subscribing, whoever that was. We really appreciate it. My goodness, let's do some fast math here, shall we? 2,436 subscribers away from getting that plaque. Told my kids I was going to do it, and they said I couldn't do it. I'm doing it. I love it. All right, so here's the website. Yes, we do post to the EU. We post everywhere. Almost everywhere. Not everywhere. I won't say everywhere, but almost everywhere. There's some of our cool stats. Oh, yeah, I got to get out of the way. See, it's just, it's too cool here. But, yeah, this website, check it out, www.torontosportsinsider.com. I paid for that website for, the past, 6 years. And I can't believe that it's finally in play. But here we are, some of our good stuff here. You could go directly to our page on SickKids, right on our website, right on the front page. It's what we do here, Toronto Sports Insider. All the games live. We are doing a few of the playoff games, select playoff games here because we just can't do all of the games because it messes up all the notifications, and YouTube is not meant, a channel is not meant to be live multiple times at once. I get it with the Blue Jays and the Leafs, and sometimes you have to be live multiple times. But that's why we're having the help of Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central, which is live right now for Vegas and Minnesota. All right, let's get back to the intermission. Thank you for checking out our website and our merch. You could shop it all and ship it right directly all over the world. Get that OG Insider stuff. Get it now. 100K, it goes away at 100,000. We're done with the road to 100K. It goes to the archive. And then we're going to put up that cool 100K logo with the new TSI logo because we're updating the new TSI. This is a logo I made with a guy in Scotland. Some kid in Scotland that I barely knew that I met on Twitter designed this logo. And so it's time for a professional upgrade, and that is exactly what we've done. All right, there you go. Andrew says it. And the merch is awesome. Thank you, Andrew, for your support of the channel and for the merch. Having that and representing Toronto Sports Insider. That's what it's all about. It was actually really, really cool because on the SOP Live that I just started up for Vegas and Minnesota, there was an old friend of the show there, Brian from God only knows where he's at now, but he was in Seattle, and big fan of the Seattle Sounders, and he was in there cheering for the Vegas Golden Knights. Super, super cool to see all of this stuff come full circle since we started with the soccer channel back in 2018. It was 2018, 2019, 2020 was really once we kicked off the YouTube, though. We started the podcast in 2018. But, all right, there is not a TSI baklava, but there should be. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, it's time for me to shut up. It's time to get back to the hockey. Come on, Maple Leafs. Let's get this done. Let's get a couple goals. It's time for me to have a drink and relax. Check out the website. Go put yourself on the map. Click that live viewers tab and take yourself right there to our live viewer map. Only 9 page views today. 1,467 though all time. I'm wondering where W is in that beach in Europe somewhere. Where's that beach? Might have to go to Milan next week for that Inter Milan-Barcelona second leg. What a game. That was absolutely amazing. But there you go. There's some more of our... there's Canada just popped in. All right. We had Israel earlier today. Sweden. United States. There it is. Peterborough, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's Peterborough's by... No, where is Peterborough? It's not... right in Toronto. No, it's way out west. All right, or east. All right. God, I grew up in Toronto for 8 years and then was moved down to Florida to listen to Joe Bowen on a beach in Florida. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
Very strange shot that I'm going to suggest that if I saw it, I would probably be able to have stopped that. Well, all right, maybe not. But anyway...
You would have seen it.
I would have seen it, and I would have... Yes. But having said that, it was not an Austin Matthews shot. It was an attempted deflection for Matthew Nyes that he does not deflect, and it literally slides into the net.
Yeah, I mean, I was with you and watching it. You're thinking, like, what just happened? Did he fan on it almost? And I think what happened, and when you saw Allmark on the one replay where he looks to his left of Matthew Nyes,
which pulls his pad away from the post,
and it goes to his right. But Matthews drops his shoulder, and I think based on the angle of his stick at that point, Allmark's thinking either he's shooting far side or he's trying for the redirection by John Tavares, who's off the back post. And instead, and maybe it was a fan by Matthews, Matthews almost looked like he changed his mind as he was delivering it to the goal, and it seemed to go off the toe of his stick and just slid short side, posted in.
Think Steven Lorenz could have done that? Just say. No, because the goal scorers get things like this happen to them, right? And from Marner and Nylander, who's celebrating his 29th birthday today, and the Maple Leafs have a 1-0 lead heading into the second period of play-by-play.
And we can keep up with the cliches at this time of year. We said the first goal's a big one. Next goal's the big one.
Oh, there you go. You're never happy.
No. We've gone through a little too much together.
Yes, we have. We read each other's minds. We know what's going on here. Mark Savard was revved up a little bit after that opening goal. And I think he's won over the Chief in the celebration department. Back of the bench. Well, we're ready to go with the second period as Matthews slides into the face-off circle. Puck is dropped, and we're underway. Marner will slash it in around the boards to the far side. Nyes got there to tip it around back of the net. Marner got there first, but couldn't come up with it. Now has it pinned up against the boards. Nyes jams his man, but the puck is poked out at center ice, and Brandon Carlo is there to backhand it back into the zone. Leafs to the left, defending, and the Senators to the right. Played into the Toronto zone. Round on the boards for Morgan Rielly. Trying to get a bouncing puck to behave. Got it up on the wing on the backhand, and the Maple Leafs Nylander gets it out at center. Pacioretty partially blocking that. Nylander does. He's in. Nylander with a shot. He scores! Willie Nylander! 2-0 Toronto! Holy mackerel, what a shot! And the Leafs take advantage of a turnover. Max Pacioretty sets it up, and it's 2-0.
Morgan Rielly starts it out of the zone. Nylander tips it inside the Ottawa blue line, and I believe it's Nick Jensen, Joe, that has trouble handling it. And Max Pacioretty is able to knock it loose, and it goes onto the stick of Willie Nylander. And boy, Nylander puts this far side, blocker side, over the right pad, just under the blocker. You talk about goal scorers' goals.
Yeah.
We've seen 2 of them.
So it is 2-0 Toronto very early here in the second period. Leafs with it again. Nylander backhanding it towards the net. It's centered in front. Another shot. Oh, and Pacioretty had that just go wide. So far, the addition of Pacioretty on that line, on that side, has been rather beneficial. Puck around on the far side. Senators have got a defenseman trapped, but it's brought in over the line by Cousins. Into the slot and a shot, and Stolars is there to make the save on David Perron.
Boy, hindsight being 20/20, not a great pinch by the Leafs to try to keep that in. But moments earlier, boy, Max Pacioretty, I don't know if Allmark got a piece of that or if it caught the crossbar. The rush back the way was Jake McCabe, wasn't it, Joe, that came down the wall to pinch.
John Tavares made a great play to get back and hurry things. And then as he was sliding towards the net and Stolars had it underneath him, you could see his lips. Attaboy, Stoli. Yeah. So it is still 2-0 in favor of the Maple Leafs.
Next goal's a big one, Joe.
Thank you. Played to the zone and into the Leaf end. Blocked but controlled, and a shot taken by Stützle is deflected up into the screen and out of play. What was the character? Captain Obvious.
Yes.
You have turned into Corporal Obvious.
I got to say it a lot of times.
Yeah. Yes. That, again, is from Corporal Obvious. Face off in the Toronto zone. Nylander and Matthews have scored the goals. And the Maple Leafs have a 2-0 lead. Pushed ahead to the line, just out of the reach of Matthews, or he had Nyes breaking. Now the Senators bring it back in on the right wing side. Flip it into the corner. Riley trying to poke it back at the net. It goes off Brandon Carlo's stick, but he gets it ahead. Nyes settles it down and finds Riley, who finds Marner, who backhands off the glass into the zone and heads to the bench. Matthews chipping it back at the net. Gregg got it up on the wing, but not out. But now the Senators break with Sanderson. He brings it to the line to Gregg. Gregg dropping into the slot. A shot didn't make it through. Leafs corral the rebound. Nyes got his head up in time as Amadio was there trying to lower the boom on him, but it didn't happen. Montepallo back in his own zone. Played in over the line by Ottawa. Tanev tried to ring the boards with it. Cut off there and played out at center ice by McMahon. It's cleared back to center. McMahon intercepted, and now Domi. He'll backhand deep into Ottawa territory. In after it quickly and taken down there behind the net was McMahon. He got back up on his skates to get it back to the point. Unable to shoot it at the net. Benoit tried to play it in, and then it was knocked back out, and the Leafs have to tag up as it's cleared back into Ottawa territory. Leafs get one change as Nylander comes over the boards. Played back along the wall for Benoit. Benoit got it ahead. Nylander has it on the right wing. And across the line, got a drop pass from McMahon. Nylander with it again down the right wing boards. Challenged as he got it into the slot, but it was picked off, and David Perron brings it back at center and sends it down into the Toronto zone. Leafs 2, Ottawa no score. 16 and a half minutes to go in the second period. Back to the point. Wristed towards the net. Blocked in front of the goal again. Leafs are going to get it out at center. And it is played off the boards then by Nylander, but not in deep. Senators to the far side. Nylander trying to get to the bench to get a change started. And brought in now by Nick Jensen. Jensen of Ottawa into the corner. Knocked down by Brandon Carlo. Back of the net, Scott Lawton played it to the far boards, but Stützle is there to Chabot. Chabot back to Stützle. Wired shot over top of the goal, and it bounces off Stolars and comes to the line. Just kept in by Stützle, but he gives it away. Nylander looking ahead, but he couldn't hit Lawton, who was breaking in behind the defense. Brought back by Stützle. Stützle to the net, a shot. Down is Stolars. He's got that caught up in his equipment and holds for a huge save and a face-off.
Boy, just 5 shots on goal for the Senators. 3 of them have forced Anthony Stolarz to come up with huge saves. As Willie Nylander, Joe, got caught out on a long shift. Couldn't make the play offensively. Brandon Carlo got spun around right in front of Stolarz, and that opened a lane for Stützle to take it from the left wing circle to the net. It's been a strange game for Stolarz. Not a lot of work, but boy, the chances have been outstanding for Ottawa.
Draw one by Toronto, carried to center ice by Tanev. Leafs get it in. Matthews ringing the boards with it. Marner down on the wall, got a piece of his man, but the puck goes free. Sanderson back of the net, and the Sens get it up on the right wing and out at center, and it'll be launched into the Toronto end. Bounced away from Stolarz, defenseman Tanev after the puck. Nicely done to get it to McCabe, and the Leafs are going to get it to the line, but Nyes doesn't get it out. On the near side, Tanev again. He'll take down his man, both players to the ice. Helping out is Matthews against the boards. Matthews comes away with the puck. Now looks for an outlet. Got it ahead, but it was knocked down by the Senators. Pass it on the wing, stopped by Stolarz. And finally, Nyes is able to skate it out at center. He'll get it into the zone. Nyes into the forecheck as it comes right to the side of the goal, and Marner played it around the wall. It'll be kept in by Benoit. Back for Marner around back of the net, but Domi unable to get there after a change being made here by the Maple Leafs. 14 and a half minutes to go in the second period. It's 2-0 in favor of Toronto. But Ottawa has been pressuring and pressing. Puck down around the boards. Leafs need a little bit of a counterattack here to get things rolling, and they'll get it out. And it is brought by Pontus Holmberg to the line and in. He'll play it in deep, but it's grabbed there by Zetterlund and set around the boards. It'll clear and come all the way back into Toronto territory. Brandon Carlo starts back up on the right side. The former Bruin deflects it in off Domi. No, apparently it did not go off Domi. And an icing call is coming here against Toronto.
Well, you like the execution that the Matthews line has had here in the opening period in the offensive zone. But Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes in the same shift have opportunities to clear the zone and don't. And that forces Anthony Stolarz to bail them out.
Yeah, if he goes up the boards, Nyes is right there and probably gets it out, but he tried to send it high, and I didn't get it high enough to get it over everybody, and all of a sudden the Hornets' nest is back.
Yeah, I don't know if he thought Nyes could glove it and then kind of drop it and skate it out.
Face off in the Toronto zone. Won by Ottawa. Chabot in against the boards. The Leafs are able to punch it back out at center and down into the zone. No icing on a good hustle play by Bobby McMahon. McMahon takes his man down and lost his stick, but it is cleared out at center and down into the Toronto end. Stolarz will leave it there for Tanev. Tanev to Lawton, up on the wing for Yarncrook. Down into the zone it goes. Fourth line out there again. Cleared by Ullmark around the boards. Pinching to keep it in was Lawton on the near boards, but it is poked out at center ice, and the Senators get it in on the left wing. Here's David Perron. Stopping it up, got it off to the defense on the right side. A centering pass blocked, and now Lorenz just gets rid of it to center ice. Sanderson with it now. Senators regroup the puck and get it in over the line. Stolen back by Jake McCabe and banked out at center ice, and the Senators have to clear, but they don't clear in time, and it's a delayed offside that Scotty Lawton hopes to utilize as it comes back to the near side for Carlo. Carlo got to center, shot it in. No, he didn't get to center. It was as close as damn is to swearing, but it was icing.
And a big push by the Ottawa Senators. We've seen long stretches into the second and third period where they haven't been able to mount many shots on goal. And even though they're saying right now, Joe, 6 shots for Ottawa, but doesn't it feel like they've had 4 or 5 great shots here in the second period already?
Yeah.
Leafs, on the other hand, have had just 9 as we near the midway mark of the second period.
Face off in the Toronto zone. Matthews with some words to the official. They are Graham Skilleter from La Ronge, Saskatchewan, and Francis Charon from Ottawa.
Yeah, that got some play, I think, in social media.
Andrew Smith and Ryan Daisy are the linesmen here this evening. Face off to the left in the Toronto zone. And is won by the Leafs. McCabe able to kick the puck back around the boards. Got it up for Nylander, who couldn't get it up the wall for him. The ensuing scrum is on the near boards. Knocked down on the play. It comes back to the point to Shabbat. Long shot, scores! Brady Tkachuk from the point cuts into the lead. It's 2-1.
And Jake McCabe's got a beef that the scrum in the corner. Brady Tkachuk grabbed the stick out of McCabe's hand. And the instant that it took McCabe to pick the stick back up, he could not beat Tkachuk to the race to the front of the net. We'll see it again. There's the scrum. And Tkachuk goes down and then grabs onto the stick of McCabe. And that's why he goes to the front of the net unchecked. And a perfect redirection on the Shabbat point shot. Boy, Ottawa's done that a lot in this series, haven't they?
Well, that is going to be a controversial goal. And Tkachuk cuts into the lead, making it 2-1.
It was a Shabbat point shot.
And there was an official standing right there. Yeah. I don't know who it was.
But if you're Jake McCabe, Joe, you can't quit on that.
No, you can't. It is 2-1, Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Oh, hello, scary monster from my nightmares. Why aren't I scared of you? Because I'm dreaming this nightmare in my new Vågstranda mattress from IKEA. I'm too comfortable and cozy to be scared. Oh no, scary monster, please don't cry. Look, I'm scared.
Visit IKEA today and start sleeping better tomorrow with everything you need for the bedroom of your dreams.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer.
Hey, you! Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight with thousands of Leafs fans from all over the world. Now that we've got your attention, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. We are getting so close to that 100,000 subscriber mark here on TSI. We are just sitting around 97,500. Let's make it happen. We really appreciate you being here. Please turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single Maple Leafs game all season long and every other Toronto sports game that happens. We'll see you back in the chat, and welcome to our awesome community.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Joe Bowen here, voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The playoff pulse on Toronto Sports Insider is all about playoff thrills and making a difference, with 100% of Leaf playoff stream revenue going directly to SickKids for their life-saving treatment. Played out at center ice to the line. Leafs with it again. Nice. Launches it back into Ottawa territory. Hustles in there against Sanderson, who got it along the boards for Zub. Zub against the wall, but it is knocked away by Nyes. Nyes to Matthews. Matthews back to the point. Marner into the slot. Pass into the Riley. Into the slot area for Matthews again. Doesn't shoot it. Carlo now to Matthews, or to Marner, and the shot went wide. Matthews taken to the inboards, and the Senators clear it high to center ice, but it's knocked back in. And now here's Marner working into the corner. Marner stops up, looks for a man, went off a skate back to the net for Nyes. Nyes had it knocked off his stick. Pinching was Carlo, but it's out at center ice and now in over the line for Ottawa. Good play by the Leafs to block that. And it is knocked away by Pontus Holmberg, and he'll get it out at center. Domi couldn't come up with it. Holmberg does. Holmberg down on the right wing boards, gets it into the Ottawa end. Back to the net. Domi can't come up with it, but Bobby McMahon did for a moment, and the Sens are able to push it out at center ice. Jake McCabe turning back in his own zone. 2-1 the score. A pass on the wing is intercepted, and the Sens back in for Stützle. Couldn't backhand it to the net, then lost the handle on the puck as it's cleared into neutral ice. Approaching the midpoint of the second period. Shot back into the Toronto zone. Stolarz played it into the corner, but it's cut off by Zetterlund. Zetterlund sends it towards the net. That doesn't reach the goal, and Domi gets it off his skate to center, but it is quickly brought back in by Clevin and Cousins. Cousins around back of the net. Domi had his stick slashed out of his hands, and it's cleared down the ice, and an icing call coming against Toronto.
All right, this is as big a push as we've seen from the Senators in this series, isn't it, Joe? Where they're coming in waves. They've established the forecheck, and the Leafs have had trouble. Even there, Anthony Stolarz goes behind the net. Both defensemen are being pressured, and he ends up throwing it into the corner, and the Leafs were just lucky to be able to get rid of it and take the icing.
Face-off coming in the Toronto zone. Domi to take the draw. And a warning has already been issued by one of the linesmen, and Domi lost the draw. Puck comes back around the boards into the near corner. Hustling after it is Holmberg. He ties it up on the wall. Puck comes back to the point. Shot wide of the net. Trying to chip it and not succeeding. And the Leafs are going to get it freed up. And now McMahon just flipping it down into the zone. And it'll go not for icing, so the Leafs are going to get their change. Jensen starts back up ice for Ottawa. He'll hit the red line, and in it goes. Round the boards near side for Tanev. Tanev ties his man up against the wall, back of the net, got the puck free, now looks to make a move with it, finds his defense partner in Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He gets it airmailed high to center, a high stick makes contact, but the Leafs are going to get it, but not into the zone. Oliver Ekman-Larsson back in his own territory, being hounded there by Stützle. Got it out at center. Leafs send it off on the wing for Nylander across the line. Nylander into the corner for Pacioretty, and around the boards Tavares. He can't come up with it, and Nylander does for Pacioretty. Pacioretty sends it around to the near side. Carlo is able to pinch and keep it in. Leafs in the midst of a change as Nyes comes out of the corner. Tried to center in front of the net for Matthews off the stick. Into the near corner, Matthews taken to the boards. Now Matthews battles hard on the wall. Gets some assistance there from Nyes. Back of the net, Marner trying to help out. And he has it now. Back into the slot of shot. And that takes down a player in front of the net as Stützle blocked that. Into the corner now for Matthews, trying to center at Marner. And it's knocked away and played high to center ice and down into the Leaf end. Carlo around the boards for Morgan Riley. Played out at center ice. Riley got hit. Now Marner in over the line. Marner a backhand stopped by Ullmark. A spinning move by Mitch Marner. And Ullmark makes the save on the short side. Stützle bent over on the bench.
I think he's the one that took the brunt of that Morgan Riley shot. Actually got him right in the
shin pads. Yeah.
What a hero. But he's doubled over on the bench. Matthews' line has looked sharp when they've had the puck in the offensive zone.
Equipment malfunction. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 10.
Alert the press!
We are the press.
Page 6 Radio. A brand new show is on Sirius XM.
I'm Danny Murphy.
I'm Evan Reel. And I'm Ian Moore, editor at Page 6, the New York Post's iconic celebrity news column.
We're your backstage pass to the hottest pop culture and entertainment.
Hey Leafs fans, it's time of the show for you to let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Let's see where Leafs Nation is gathering from all over this planet. Let us know your city and province in the chat. City and state if you're in the USA, and all over the world. Let us know with those flag emojis or what country you're watching from. We really appreciate the amount of support we have with this global community. And have visited our website and let us know over in the chat. The website link is in the description. That's going to take you to a cool map that you see right over here that's got everybody all over the world. Australia, all over Asia, all over Europe. We even have Africa covered. South America, North America. It's all here on Toronto Sports Insider. We appreciate you being here. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go.
Lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
PM on TSN 1050.
Teams have traded goals in the second period. Nylander from Pacioretty, Tkachuk from Chabot and Giroux. And the Austin Matthews goal in the first period.
The lines look sharp, though, haven't they?
Yeah.
They have dominated the boards.
Nylander winning a face-off. Pacioretty knocked it back of the net, but the Senators are there, and Chabot with a long up and across the line, but it's broken up by the Maple Leafs. Played around back of the net for Benoit. Benoit got it up on the wing. Pacioretty battles for it. The puck along the boards comes back to the point. Kept in by Ottawa. Backhanded into the near corner. Around back of the net it goes. Trying to come out with it is Amadio. Tied up there by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Now not, or at least Tavares in against the boards with him. Kick up against the wall. Still pried up there by the Leafs. And finally poked free. Ottawa can't get anywhere with it. Leafs bank it ahead. Cleared on the backhand, but not out. Kept in now by Gregg in front of the net. A shot knocked down. There's a scramble. The puck is somewhere underneath and it's taken to safety by Nylander. Willie gets it to the line and a glove pass.
Well, maybe a high stick knocked that down.
Okay,
but
yep.
Boy, again, the Leafs have an opportunity to get it out. And that time it was Pacioretty that tried to, instead of going up the boards, tried to backhand pass to Tavares in the middle of the ice. It gets knocked down, and then Anthony Stolarz in the reverse, or I guess it's not the reverse snow angel. He's perfect angel mode.
Yeah, perfect snow angel mode. Face-off controlled by Ottawa and shot into the Toronto end. Canov on the near boards gets it out. Chipped along the boards by Yarncrook, but it is sent back in. And Stolarz plays to his defenseman, but it got off the stick of McCabe, who now gets it ahead, and the Leafs are able to get it out. Bit of a hiccup there from Jake McCabe on the pass from Stolarz. Senators up ahead at center for Zetterlund. On the right wing side, and a drive is into the glove off the stick of Montepallo. And caught by Anthony Stolarz. Leafs 2, Ottawa 1 here in the second period.
Anthony Stolarz only had 3 shots on goal in the first. Ottawa's already doubled that here in the second. Leafs with the slight edge, 10-9 in shots. But this is probably the best stretch for the Ottawa Senators on the forecheck. They've given the Leafs fits. Once the game went to 2-0, Ottawa turned it on.
7:03 to play in the second period. Draw won by Toronto. Marner pulls and then banks it out and down into Ottawa territory. Matthews and Nyes after it, but it is grabbed off by Artem Zub, and he gets it ahead for Stützle. Stützle sends it down into the Leaf end. Cleared back of the net by Stolarz. Carlo ran into Giroux. The puck goes around to the far wing. Now back along the boards. Morgan Riley couldn't come up with it, but the Leafs do get it out, and Nyes sends it into the offensive zone. Down the right wing boards, Matthews. Partially blocks, comes out with it, but can't get it in front cleanly. Stolen back by Nyes. Nyes can't control it, and it works its way back into the center ice area. Benoit for Pontus Holmberg. Left now for Benoit. Benoit down the right wing boards and in. Benoit goes around back of the net with it. Still has it on the far side. Tried to get it back to the point, but it was knocked away by Brady Tkachuk and played to center ice. Benoit hustling back after it. Leaves it for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. OEL with a lead pass off Bobby McMahon's stick. He gets down into the zone, but is drilled to the boards by Tyler Kleven. Puck on the far side bounces over Ty Domi's stick, and the Senators get it out at center ice. In across the line, rolling in on goal. Easily steered aside by Stolars, but the puck is still in the Toronto end. A centering pass, partially blocked. Domi doesn't get it out. Perron in the right wing corner, and the pass has deflected down into Ottawa territory.
Why does it feel like 5 minutes left in the third? Doesn't it? There's that urgency from Ottawa's side, and the Leafs have been fortunate at times in their own end.
Here's Tavares getting it freed up for Nylander. Nylander in along the boards. Hit there by Pacioretty. The puck comes free. Pacioretty and Nylander with it. Nylander sends it back behind the net. Tavares in there takes his man down. Pacioretty with the puck back to the net for Tavares. Can't come up. Gets it back to the point. Nylander a shot. Rebound. Backhand to the goal line. Smothered by Ullmark.
Boy, I think this gets past Ullmark, maybe off the post and back into him. It's great work on the forecheck, led by John Tavares and followed up by Nylander and Pacioretty. But yeah, it hits the outside of the post, so they don't get that friendly bounce into the blue paint. But back out into Ullmark as the Leafs very nearly restore the 2-goal lead.
2-goal posts now. Pacioretty involved in both of them. It is 2-1 Toronto. And you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru.
Hey Insiders, now's the time for us to talk about our Playoff Pulse campaign. Thank you for being a part of it. Just by being here, you're making a difference, as 100% of our ad revenue is going directly to SickKids Hospital in Toronto through our Playoff Pulse campaign for life-saving treatment and care and leading research that helps all over the world. You guys have seen the video that we play here from SickKids, and I urge you to take a look at the link that is pinned in the chat and donate if you are able. Thank you so much for helping us make a difference in our community. Now let's get back to the hockey. Come on, Maple Leafs. It's time to get this win and not have to go back to Toronto until the second round. Let's go, buds. Come on, Maple Leafs fans. Cheer up loud. Let's go.
The Playoff Pulse campaign on Toronto Sports Insider is uniting fans worldwide. Lead in the game 2-1. Cameron Moore and Alex Mandarino handling everything here in the studio at TSN as the Maple Leafs have a 2-1 lead and a 3-2 lead in the series.
And I do believe the Leafs are 2-1 in Game 6s in Ottawa. Remember the Bless You Boys game that forced a Game 7?
Did we do that game?
I believe we did.
Oh.
I blessed you.
Oh, thank you. Senators win the face-off and get it out into neutral ice. Chip down into the left wing corner for Shane Pinto. He's engaged, and then the puck is played up on the wing, but not out. Long shot deflects well wide. Far side, Amadio trying to send it to the net. Goes around back of the goal until he ran into the hip of Benoit and was flattened. Brought out at center by the Leafs and chipped in over the line by Nyes. Played by Zub around back of the net to the near corner. And I could hear it, couldn't see it, but Nyes finished his check there. The puck in along the boards in the Toronto zone now. Lawton gets it freed up for McCabe. Sent back for Tanev. Played along the boards for Lawton. Lawton trying to chip it out. Gets some assistance there from Nyes, who's still on the ice. Played to the center ice area. McCabe kicking it along the boards, has it in his skate. Now Yarncrook trying to help out. That puck finally comes free, and it is dug out by the Sens and then shot into the Toronto zone. Far side for McCabe. Back it goes for Lawton, trying to chip it back of the goal. Couldn't do so, but has it again. Got it ahead, but not out. Played around back of the net. Tanev is there again, and Mr. Dependable gets it out at center ice. Played by Lawton deep into the Ottawa zone with 3:28 to play in the second. Lawton back of the net. Fourth line doing a good job again of trying to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Played around the boards and in back of the net now with Nylander joining the fray. And Tavares. Tavares kicking it back towards the blue line. Sent it into the corner. Nylander then was drilled to the boards and drilled to the ice on a hit there by Tyler Clevin. Nylander returns the favor Although we didn't see it fully on the screen, it was in behind the play a bit. Nylander getting the puck back of the net, and Morgan Riley in the far corner gets it out at center ice. Leafs ahead for Tavares. Tavares in on the wing, doesn't shoot it. To the left wing half wall, dropping it off for Willie. Nylander back to the point. Benoit hammered it wide of the goal, and the Sens are going to get it out at center ice, only to have it turned over again, then played in over the line and turned over once more. Leafs get it back at center. Marner, left wing side, nice! And he shot it, and it's kicked by Ullmark up into the screen.
Boy, for a 2-1 game, it's been fairly wide open, hasn't it? We've seen both teams get all kinds of opportunities. As Clevin dropped the shoulder into Willie Nylander, but Nylander got back up and finished the check on the near boards. Pretty good opportunity by Matthew Nyes. We saw Nylander score off the right wing. Here Nyes off the left wing. Tries to go short side on Ullmark, but Ullmark beats him with the blocker. 2:25 to go, second period. Leafs 2, Ottawa 1. Matthews with a bit of a huddle with his line mates and defensemen. Draw to the right. One cleanly. Marner circles back. Marner looking in front of the net, and the shot was stopped. The rebound. Chopped to the line and out as Riley couldn't get there. He'll find Brandon Carlo, who returns the favor. Played by Riley out into the neutral zone. Nyes couldn't control the puck. Shot back into the zone by Ottawa. Down the boards, Carlo trying to chip it along. Goes to the other side. Nyes with a little bit of room. Now looking to get it out, but a bad pass is intercepted by Ridley Gregg. Gregg keeps it in. Gregg along the boards, and Nyes now with skating room finds Marner, who flips it ahead. Here's Brandon Carlo in. Big glove save from Linus Ullmark. Ooh, do you wish 34 was over there and not 25? Yeah, but Carlo coming face to face with his former teammate. Mitch Marner, what a clever backhand pass from the red line right between the benches onto the stick of Carlo. So that's two opportunities that the Leafs have had in the last couple of shifts. Off the rush, Matthew Nyes a little earlier, and now Brandon Carlo.
1:44 left in the second period. Face off in the Ottawa zone. It was a great play by Carlo to jump into the rush, and a brilliant pass from Marner. Senators send it down into the Leaf end, but no icing. Grabbed off by McCabe. He got it to center. Kachuk stole it back. Leafs get it to the line and in with Tavares. Tavares right wing side, Tanev, a long shot, deflected in. That was stopped, and then Tavares couldn't get the rebound, and then it bounces over the stick of Tanev, but the Leafs are going to get back and get it back into the zone.
Boy, you'd take a lucky one here.
Here's Kachuk, left wing side, shooting stop. Rebound goes to the far wing. Yarncrook does a nice job initially to tie up his man. Now gets it again. Sends it around back to the near corner. And it'll be Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting it out. Shot back in, and Stolars is out of the goal. He'll leave it there for Jake McCabe. McCabe's pass finds Lorenz. Lorenz ahead for Yarncrook. Yarncrook stops up at the half boards. Sends it in around back of the net. Lorenz is there to provide a hit. Lawton again, stolen by Yarncrook, in with a shot just wide, and a big rebound off the inboards, but no one there to do any damage with it. Icing call now against Ottawa.
This really has the feel of a game that should be 4-3 or 5-4, doesn't it? As the Leafs off the rush again, Kelly Yarncroc misses short side. And right before that, the Leafs throw it to the net from the point. And just as I was about to say they need a lucky one, Ottawa takes off and an odd-man rush back the other way, and Brady Tkachuk gets stopped by Anthony Stolars.
Nylander was trying to bank it in off the pad of Ullmark when he got his rebound chance. Leafs win the draw. Riley with a wrist shot. Knocked down. It's cleared to the line and out. And Brandon Carlo has it back at the red line, and now he's going to shoot it right back in again. 18 seconds left in the period. Senators Clevin. Long lead pass. Is that going to be an icing? So 11.9 seconds and a big face-off. Where's Matthew Nyes?
Where's Simon Benoit?
Remember Nice?
In Pittsburgh,
Yes.
yeah. But I was just thinking Benoit, that same end of the ice in overtime.
Exactly.
After a face-off win by Austin Matthews. Boy, he hammered one earlier in the period, didn't it? And he's got a little oomph on that one-timer from the point.
Face off in the Ottawa zone to the right of Ullmark. Matthews taking the draw, won it cleanly. Riley at the left point, has to hurry, got a shot away, but there was no traffic in front of the net. And Ullmark is able to catch that with 7 seconds. Let's try that again. This time, can we get some people in front of the eyes of Linus Ullmark? (17-11) shots favor Toronto. And another huddle by Matthews, who will be asked to win this draw. Riley and Oliver Ekman-Larsson are back there. The draw is scrummed. The puck goes to Marner. Marner on the far half board, centering in front. And Matthews couldn't get his stick on it. And a shot by Oliver Ekman-Larsson into the shin pads of Ridley Greig drew the ire of the Ottawa forward, who looked like he was going to give a two-hander to the Leafs defenseman.
Well, we saw that vicious shot block into the shin pads of Tim Stützle that had him doubled over on the Ottawa bench. Maybe it hurts more than we think it should, but why wouldn't we go into the third period with a 1-goal difference between these two clubs here in Game 6?
17-11, the shots after 40 minutes. Teams trade goals in the second after Matthews from Marner and Nylander on the power play opened the scoring late in the first. Nylander scored 43 seconds into the second from Pacioretty, but Tkachuk from Shabbat and Giroux at 7:28 have the Senators back into the game, trailing by 1. We have got Michael DiStefano coming by to be with Jim Taddy for our second period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple.
The Kentucky Derby is here, and VSiN is covering all the action with a live show Saturday beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm Mike Somich. Join me and Aaron Halterman for a special live edition of VSiN at the Track. We'll give you the latest news, handicap the race, and give you our best bets, plus interviews with guests like legendary announcer Dave Johnson. Join us live for VSiN at the Track Saturday starting at 4 p.m. Eastern on VSiN. We'll help you make smart bets and enjoy the 151st Run for the Roses on SiriusXM Channel 158 and the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th.
Cheers, insiders. All right, here we go. Comes down to this. 20 minutes, third period coming up. 2-1. I was kind of hoping for another goal there on either side. Honest to God, even if the Sens tied it up, I was like, all right, I'll take that now rather than the third period. Because, man, you know the Sens are going to come out buzzing, and our Leafs better be ready. Oh, there's another super chat. There you go. Thank y'all for your generous donations to a good cause. Let's go, Leafs. Our year, 100% Miller time. You are right on, my brother or sister. I don't know. But these donations, absolutely unbelievable. I got to pull up this the top chat here. Oh my goodness, I missed a Dave Strange super chat. Look at this. Miller time, Andrew Hurd, Mike St. Jean, Dave Strange, Brandy Gale, Dave Strange again, Kenneth N, welcome to Insider, David Love, welcome to Insider, Dave Strange again. I can't even scroll up high enough. Tommy Anderson, welcome to VIP. Katie Marie, Leslie O'Connor, welcome to Insider. Thank you for joining as members here on Toronto Sports Insider and getting access to those awesome emojis. And if you're VIP, some new cool membership perks coming up soon. We're working on all of that with the 100K and the playoff pulse and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, this has just been absolutely amazing. Thank you all for your support of SickKids Hospital tonight. As far as that question, for donating to SickKids Hospital in person, I know, because I know that Pierre LaBelle has actually said he's done it here on the channel. You walk into SickKids Hospital and they will take a check, I am sure, And there's even, you can go to our donation page. The link is pinned in the chat. If it's not there because you're on an iPhone and they don't keep the pinned chat there all the time, it's in the description. Go check it out. There are options there on that page. You could say like to write a check and then the address for SickKids Hospital there. I can also get that information as well, but if you send me an email, torontosportsinsider@gmail.com, I will get back to you with that information 100%. All right, here we go. There is, another super chat. Jose Duarte, win this game, please. Come on, buds. We got to win this game. I do not want to deal with Saturday night. I really, really do not want to deal with that. 2-1. We're up, heading into the third. I like it. I'm happy. The Buds are playing a lot better. But, man, one bad play, one miscue, one error, one drop in intensity for just a second, and it could be tied with that building rocking. Because this could be the last game of the season for the Senators in that building, and their fans know it, and our Leafs fans definitely don't want to go back to Toronto for Game 7. They want to go back for the first or the second round of the playoffs against the Florida Panthers. All right, here we go. Joe's back talking. Go Leafs, go! Come on, let's get it, Leafs. Let's do this.
Max Pacioretty sets it up, and it's 2-love.
Not anymore. 2-1 Leafs over Ottawa after 40 minutes of play. TSN After 40 brought to you by 241 Pizza. Give yourself a high five. Buy any large traditional pizza. Get up to 3 medium, 1-topping pizzas for $5 each. 241pizza.com. Jim Daddy and Mike DiStefano with you. 2-1 AB. So we talked about Pacioretty in the pregame. That's why he's there. Created the turnover and a goal comes out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a reason why we're here on the radio. Mike Craig Berube sitting behind a bench in the NHL playoffs, right? I think he might know a little bit more than us. And hey, credit to Pacioretty. Like, this is his opportunity. He came here because he felt that this team had a chance to win, and he's giving everything he's got to try and do that, right? To try and put this team into the second round. And a great play, he just kind of, I don't know what Nick Jensen was doing. He's a little nonchalant with the puck there with a guy right on him. But, stick check, the puck ends up landing perfectly onto Willie's stick. And what a shot by Nylander there. I mean, there was a puck-sized space between the blocker and the pad, and Willie literally just hit that only little tiny area that was left for him open. And real early, it's what you wanted to see. You got a goal from Matthews, goal from Nylander. Things looking good.
Yeah, and both of them are thread-the-needle plays. And then you have the Ottawa goal, which was very reminiscent of the Shabbat goal Saturday night. He fires it from the point. Tkachuk gets there and deflects it in, but that's a simple play, too.
Well, for sure. And that's one where, McCabe loses his stick, and then instead of chasing after Tkachuk, decides to go for the stick, and that allowed him to get away. And he's all alone in front of the net, gets a stick on it, and it just deflects up over the right shoulder of Anthony Stolarz. There's nothing you could do if your Stolarz there, but obviously if you're Toronto, you want to make sure that you do not allow that guy to get to the front of the net as easily as he did. I get it. He lost his stick, McCabe did, but probably just follow the man and make sure you push him out of the way instead of, reaching down for your stick when the opposition has the puck.
Both teams recharged between the first and second period. There was a lot of energy on the ice. What I really liked was, I think in the last 5 minutes, the Leafs had 3 or 4 really good opportunities driving to the net.
Yeah, well, the Senators for sure, I think, took advantage. They came out stronger to start that second period. Like, they responded after Nylander, made it 2-0. They responded well. They ended up scoring. But then Toronto, you're right, kind of took back the game in the last kind of 5 minutes there and ended up with a few real good opportunities. The scoring chances were in favor of Ottawa for most of that period, but Toronto kind of squeezing and filling in that gap. It ended up being 12-10. At one point, I was looking, the scoring chances were 7-1 for Ottawa. It ended 12-10. So Toronto, toward the end of the period, definitely started to get back to their game, finding ways to get pucks on goal, and they just got to continue doing that in the next period.
And again, we started the night talking concern about the Leafs' best players, Nyes, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, and Pacioretty in this particular case, all very noticeable out there, aren't they?
Oh, for sure. That second line's playing very well. Nylander's had a few opportunities in this game. He's got some jump. I even saw him, in the defensive end. There was that scramble in front of Stolarz. It was Nylander who picks up the loose puck and gets it out of danger. So he's playing below the hash marks on the defensive side. You love to see that. He obviously contributed with the goal. He's had a couple of opportunities as well. And Tavares, he's kind of doing his thing like he always does. But it's that top line that I think has elevated their game tonight, right? It seems like they've been in the offensive zone the entire time, and that's what this team needs from that group, from Matthews and Marner and Nyes. They're winning puck battles. They're keeping possessions alive and keeping pressure on Ottawa. Maybe it can result in a little bit more offense at 5-on-5 in the final 20.
A lot of hits in this game. It's a physical game. Yeah. I can't. I wish we could fast forward to the third period.
Well, I mean, it has been a physical game. It certainly has. What do we got? 36 hits for Toronto, 44 hits so far for the Ottawa Senators. I mean, it certainly has been physical. But honestly, for me, I just think Toronto needs to just continue to play the way they're playing. Maybe cut down on the turnovers. I think a couple of times they've been caught, especially when in that middle of that period there. Ottawa was really applying pressure. They were winning battles along the wall, along the boards, getting in on the forecheck and forcing some turnovers. The Leafs, 14 giveaways in this game compared to Ottawa's 7. So maybe a little bit more protection with the puck, and that should go a long way to finally finishing this thing off if you're Toronto.
Well, I think you'd agree with me. To the eye test, the Leafs are playing their game, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. And it's what you want to do, right? Defensively, they're shutting things down. I mean, how many shots does Ottawa have right now? Barely 11 shots on goal. I mean, that's all you can really ask from the team. They're getting in front of pucks, they're blocking shots, they're muddying it up in front of the net, packing the ice, keeping things perimeter. And then offensively, they've been able to get their opportunities and chances as well. And again, we talked about it coming into the game. They got to win the special teams battle, and so far, that's been the difference. The Maple Leafs, they scored on the power play. The Senators did not, and that's why we have a one-goal game with 20 minutes to go.
Unbelievable that we're in Game 6. They're separated by a goal, and what happens in the next 20 minutes decides a season, really, doesn't it?
It does. Maple Leafs 37-1-1 when leading after 2 periods. Is this the day the demons die, Jim? Is this the day?
Yeah, we'll go out with a yes guy. Yes guy it is, but we'll see, right? 2-1 Leafs over Ottawa after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp now for free information on how to get started today. InventHelp provides invention services that help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention and 3D animation and prototype modeling that help you demonstrate your idea. Get down to the details of your idea with a technical drawing. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Take advantage of the opportunity to get started today.
Call 1-800-353-6013. That's 1-800-353-6013. Again, 1-800-353-6013.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I don't want to say I'm a big deal, but I am a superhero.
I love helping people consolidate their debts, and that's what I did for the Smiths. I took their bills and zoom! Wha-bam! Zap! Turn them into one low monthly payment. No, the sound's not necessary, but it's part of the fun.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go to town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. One of the game in progress, 7 minutes into the second period. Vegas and Minnesota are tied at 1. Theodore for Vegas and Hartman for Minnesota with 4 seconds left in the first period. Vegas has a 3-2 series lead. The other games have yet to start. Dallas and Colorado. Dallas with a 3-2 series lead. That starts after 9:30. And at 10 o'clock, Los Angeles and Edmonton Oilers with a 3-2 series lead. And our game 2-1 for the Leafs over the Ottawa Senators after 40 minutes of play. Oh, yes, Guy. The third period is next. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
It's been an American tradition for more than 150 years.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
And you can hear the Run for the Roses on Sirius XM.
Coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's the photo of the Derby.
Join us Saturday at 10 Eastern for Down the Stretch with Dave Johnson. Then at 2, Steve Pick is live at Churchill Downs for the pre-race show. And at 5 Eastern, hear the 151st Kentucky Derby on NBC Sports Radio Channel 85 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
December 15th, Vancouver Canucks were in the playoffs. And this is when they had that big controversy going on. So they had to do something about it. And they did do something about it. Well, now they're not in the playoffs. You know what? They're not even really close anymore. This is the most absurd season falling apart. The most disappointing team this season of the 32 are the Vancouver Canucks.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think any time that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not, and then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Liverpool are your 2025 Premier League champions, and no one covered their journey like SiriusXM FC.
This year, they've been absolutely untouchable.
This team was the epitome of a team. From every big moment
Liverpool with a chance, left foot, and it's in! The most dramatic end to this game!
to every major storyline.
Incredible, especially to win it in Anfield is so incredible.
No one brings you closer to the English Premier League than SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
TSN 1050.
Leafs carry a one-goal lead to the third period, leading the Ottawa Senators in Game 6, 2-1. And the period is being brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it.
All right. You want me to stick with the Captain Obvious theme?
No, you're Corporal Obvious.
Yeah, well, I have aspiration to move up. For what it matters in the regular season, the Leafs 35-1-1 when taking the lead into the third period. There are the Senators when they've trailed after 5 wins, 23 losses, and 1 overtime loss on the year. But as we say, it's a new season, and now it is the third time the Leafs have taken a lead, but the first 2 times were the first 2 games on home ice when they were able to defeat the Senators. You remember Ottawa scored in Game 2 late in the third period on their first shot on goal with about 5 minutes left that set up Max Domi's overtime winner. They did have the lead in Game 3 when Austin Matthews scored early in the third period, but Ottawa tied that game up before Simon Benoit won it in overtime. So the Leafs have had success when having a lead in the third period.
The weather has cleared up. The folks down at Maple Leaf Square are out in numbers as always. And the Leafs have gotten goals from some of the big boys. Austin Matthews and Willie Nylander on his birthday have scored the Toronto tallies, and Tkachuk has scored for Ottawa. The Leafs have outshot the Ottawa Senators over the first 40 minutes of play at the Canadian Tire Centre in Canada. So the Leafs will endeavor to expand upon or protect judiciously this 1-goal lead. The teams are at center ice, the Leafs to the left and to the right, and the puck dropped and we're underway. Down into the zone, it goes into the Ottawa end. Marner couldn't block it. Played out at center off a stick, and Morgan Riley has it under control at his own blue line. Played back in over the line for Nyes. Into Marner in the slot, a shot! He went upstairs and it went over top of the goal. Played out at center ice and Marner has it again. Back it goes to the defense. McCabe finds Carlo. Carlo back to Jake McCabe. McCabe having difficulties with it. Played it off on the wing, but the Senators have it, and a shot ricochets wide of the Leaf goal. Kept in at the point, and a long shot goes high to the side of the net. All of this on a giveaway by McCabe. Pacioretty can't get to it. Shot into the chest of Stolarz. Smothered and held. Stützle putting on his brave boy pants there in a shoving episode with Brendan Carlo.
Boy, Jake McCabe's had some tough moments in this game. That shot cranked off the post, too, didn't it, Joe? From long range, might have beat Stolarz, but you remember in the second period, McCabe got caught at a bad pinch. He got caught after he lost his stick and allowed Brady Tkachuk to go to the net.
Face off in the Toronto zone. Lawton with Lorenz and Yarncrook out there for Toronto. Linesman giving Lawton a bit of a warning. And no, the warning is you're out. Okay. So Yarncrook will take the face-off for Toronto against Stützle. And the draw is scrummed in along the boards. Oliver Ekman-Larsson ties up his man. Now Lawton has it up against the boards, pushes it free. Yarncrook couldn't get it around, and it's played around to the near side. Lorenz stops his man as it goes back of the net. Lawton trying to chip it along. Chopped at there by Yarncrook, but not cleared. Senators able to keep it in. At the point on the near side, a shot. Good pad save made by Stolarz. And this time the Leafs get it airmailed, but into the bench. And out of play.
Judging by the roar, Ottawa Senator fans was hoping that was going to clear the glass in behind the Leafs bench. But both teams have come out and had some opportunities here early in the third period. Mitch Marner, a great opportunity from the high slot.
Gotta hit the net with that. Gotta hit the net with that. Stolarz with a good pad save. And the face-off. And Tkachuk playing patty fingers there with Ekman-Larsson's stick.
Ekman-Larsson, a good job to block him out.
Tanev off the boards, cleared to center ice. Nylander to Tavares. Tavares in on the left wing. Couldn't get a shot away. Cycles it back behind the net, but Nylander unable to get there. And then a big hit by Pacioretty as the puck is pushed out at center ice. And here's Perron into the slot. His shot was blocked entirely. And Tanev finds Tavares, who finds Nylander. Nylander in his own zone. Long rink-wide pass that McCabe failed to get it out. Brought in now by Perron. Perron down the near boards, trying to chip it into the corner, goes around back of the net. The always present Tanev there to get it up on the wing. Leafs unable to clear. McCabe plays it right in front of his own goal where no one was, and it's played to center ice, and Domi has it in across the line. Max looking for an outlet, back to the point. Morgan Riley with a shot that was blocked before it got anywhere near the Ottawa goal. Senators get it back out at center. Zetterlund plays it into the Toronto end. Carlo reverses the puck for Morgan Riley, who took a hit there from Cousins to get it out. And it's back at the Ottawa blue line. Senators backhanded back in. Brendan Carlo has space and time. Looks up ice to get it ahead to Matthews. On to Morgan Riley. Riley shooting it in. Round on the boards to the far side for Marner. He tips it back at the net. Matthews got there but couldn't make a play. Played on the backhand by Nick Jensen to the line, but not out. Kept in by Toronto. Bouncing puck comes to the near wing. Getting there on the change was Benoit. Back of the net, Marner. Marner with it again. Tried to center, and it was blocked. He doesn't see it. And it's grabbed off by Michael Amadio. He'll get it to center ice. Matthews back in his own zone. To Benoit. Up on the left wing for Nyes. Just did get it into Ottawa territory. Both teams are trying to change. Sanderson will turn in his own zone. Starts it up at center. Looks to the left wing side, then shoots it in and around the boards. Grabbed off by the Sens and kept in at the point. McCabe ties his man up. Tried to play it ahead there for Lawton. It comes to him, and Lawton will get it out on the right wing side for Lorenz. Lorenz plays it gingerly in over the line to deny icing, but gets it back at the net for Yarncrook. He couldn't come out with it, and it's played up on the boards by David Perron, but not out. Leafs are able to keep it in. Slashing at it was Yarncrook, but he couldn't get it towards the net. Senators with it again, but another solid shift by the Leafs' fourth line. They have really turned into a very dependable threesome.
And not a lot of scoring chances, but they're momentum shifters.
Played up on the wing to the line and in. Here's Stützle trying to drive the net. Made a pass for Tkachuk, but it was out of his reach. Nylander gets it ahead for Tavares. Tavares to center with Pacioretty, who shoots it in. Round on the boards, back of the net, Ullmark. Got it into the corner. Nylander couldn't keep it in as the Sens get in over the line. Stützle chased by Pacioretty. Got to the net with a shot that was stopped by Stolars. Nylander starts back the other way. Down the right wing. Sends a long shoot in on goal. Senators back. We've already played 5 minutes. Here's Gaudette. And Shabbat unable to get in cleanly. And a whistle is going to stop play. For what? I have no idea.
In offside?
Could be. At any rate, it'll be outside the blue line.
Tim Stützle's probably had one of his more impressive games of this series as well, Joe. He was one of the stars last game.
Boy.
But he drove to the net well.
Stolars needed all 6'7" of them, didn't he?
Just got his shoulder on it, didn't he?
Well, the faceoff is at center ice. So, again, I have no idea what happened. Played right back down into Ottawa territory. Plevin taken to the boards. Tries to work up. That went off a stick, and out of the net comes Ullmark, but he lost it, and the Leafs hit the goal post. It comes back to the point. Here's McCabe with a shot. Blockered into the screen, and Linus Ullmark almost had the gaff of the series.
Well, Ottawa gives it away. Off a skate. Ullmark comes out to play it on the forehand, but he knows if he tries to go up the boards, Max Domi's going to pick it off. So he just turns and sort of panics and plays it into the corner. Domi got to that, and from a sharp angle, banked it off the side of the net. It went out towards the slot, but fortunately for the Senators, no Leaf was there.
Geometrically speaking, Mr. Ralph, the shot came from about 6 inches ahead of the goal line. So in effect, he could have scored. But it hit the goalpost. Puck down in the Toronto zone to the side of the net. Pushed ahead for Nyes. Nyes needs to get it out, but doesn't. But then Matthews does. And Matthews works in over the line. Oh, he could have taken a dive there, and he didn't. Matthews with it back to the point. Benoit holds. Wrist shot coming. Deflected wide. Puck on the far side, but Nyes had gone to the bench. And it's back out at center ice for Ottawa. Amadio gets it down in on the right wing. Taken to the boards there by Scotty Lawton. Lorenz back to the line. Yarncrook couldn't get it in. Slashed in over the line on a delay by Lawton. Senators back in their own zone. Swing it around, but McCabe breaks that up, and a centering pass for Yarncrook just went astray. Lawton's behind the net. Centering pass! Hammered wide of the goal by Lawton.
Boy, there was room on the far side.
Back in the Toronto end as it caromed all the way down into the Leaf zone. Tanev gets it ahead. Tavares can't get in over the line. Right wing side now for Dylan Cousins. Cousins stops up. Tried to center it in front. Picked off there by McCabe. Played up on the wing. Leafs are going to get it up on the boards, and Tavares gets to the red line and buys half the rink by sending it in. 12:55 to play in the third. Still 2-1 Toronto. Long pass knocked away. McMahon up ahead for Pontus Holmberg, and into the zone it goes. Holmberg taken to the boards. Domi trying to pry it free. Does to McMahon. McMahon back to the point. Riley going to get back from Domi to the right wing side for Carlo. A shot that was blocked. Grabbed off by McMahon. Leafs trying to have some zone time here. Here's Domi coming out from behind the net. From the side of the net he centers. It comes back to the point. Brandon Carlo whipped it wide. Near side for Riley. Riley keeping it in. Far side, Domi trying to knock it down, and he has. Tips it back to the net for Bobby McMahon, who was ridden off the puck. McMahon back into the fray, though. Gets it into the corner for Domi. Domi back to the point. Kept alive. Good shift here by the third line for the Maple Leafs. Back of the net, McMahon. Still with it. Trying to free it up. Now to the side of the goal it comes. Matthews overskated it. A shot from the point whistled wide. Matthews after the puck. Shabbat trying to just get it out for Ottawa, and he does. Leafs have it again. Benoit. Pass for Matthews. Flipped high into the near corner. Sanderson gets there. Marner chops it back behind the goal from him. And Jensen will try to play it out, but he has iced the puck. No, I guess... Boy, I don't know how they missed that. Or did it touch somebody? It must have. They couldn't have missed it. Played out at center ice by the Maple Leafs. Brought right back in again. Ridley Gregg got it in over the line. Leafs get it back. And here's that fourth line again. The official knocks down Lawton. So that's at least 1 for 1 in that department. That linesman has had a busy night. Pass deflects down into the Toronto zone. Not sure if it's the same linesman, but now Lawton skating it out. McCabe up on the right side. Chipped in over the line there by Yarncrook. And it's around back of the net. And the Senators are there. But 3 real good offensive zone shifts for the Maple Leafs here to hem the Senators in. 10:37 left to play in the third. 2-1 Toronto. Here's Stützle. Getting it up on the left wing to the line, but knocked out of the air, and it goes onto the stick of Bobby McMahon. McMahon plays it down into the Ottawa zone. Hustling in there after it was Tavares! Centered in front of the goal, and it's knocked away before Nylander and McMahon could get to it. Stützle crossed the line on the left wing for Giroux. Back to the point, a one-timer. Pad save, and a good one made by Stolarz. Flipped just out at center ice by McMahon.
Boy, he fanned on that
Did
as well.
he ever?
That could have been trouble had it been kept in.
I think you detected that in my voice, Mr. Rao. Cleared down into the Toronto zone. Back of the net now for Benoit. Reverses it, but Riley had gone to the front of the net. Now Domi can't get it out as it comes to the point. Wrist shot coming. That deflects high and wide. And on the near wing, it's Pacioretty clearing it, but it's going to be an icing call against Toronto. And a makeshift line is out there. Max Domi, Pacioretty. And I can't tell you who the other one is because we've got a commercial on.
I think McMahon was back out with Tavares and Willie Nylander the shift before. Or looking at another one, Brady Tkachuk just misses another redirection on a Thomas Chabot point shot.
So the face-off in the Toronto end of the rink. Domi, Pacioretty, and is that Pontus Holmberg? I believe it is, yes. Draw to the left of Stolarz, but it's won by Ottawa. Chabot works to the middle of the ice. Now plays it into the corner. Sharp angle try. Riley knocks down an Ottawa player, and the net gets dislodged. And I believe Francis Charon has called a penalty.
Might have been somewhat dramatically enhanced, but it works for the Senators. And they'll go to the second power play of the game. Yeah, he just leaves his feet. It was the brilliant play. This is just 2 guys battling for position. And Zetterlund, down he goes, knocks the net off and draws the penalty.
Leafs to the penalty kill. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 in the Maple.
A place in the UEFA Champions League final is on the line, and all the drama is on Sirius XM FC. After a 6-goal classic in Spain, Barcelona and Inter meet in Milan with the tie level and everything to play for.
Hey Leafs fans, it's time of the show for you to let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Let's see where Leafs Nation is gathering from all over this planet. Let us know your city and province in the chat. City and state if you're in the USA, and all over the world. Let us know with those flag emojis or what country you're watching from. We really appreciate the amount of support we have with this global community. And have visited our website and let us know over in the chat. The website link is in the description. That's going to take you to a cool map that you see right over here that's got everybody all over the world. Australia, all over Asia, all over Europe. We even have Africa covered. South America, North America. It's all here on Toronto Sports Insider. We appreciate you being here. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
TSN 1050, everywhere you want it.
Leafs lose the face-off. A man short. Sanderson along the boards. Tkachuk into the corner. Tkachuk trying to play it back. Marner intercepts on his knees, back on his skates, and down the ice it goes. Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. Sanderson through center. Right wing side for Dylan Cousins. That pops high in the air. Leafs got it to the line, but not out. Brought back in by Batherson. Batherson to the point. Sanderson near side Stützle, top of the circle. Played off a skate, trying to get to it, Lawton, but he couldn't. To the point, Sanderson. Off into the corner, it bounces away. Now Tanev works the end boards. Batherson got it back. It comes back to the point and now to the near side, and the Leafs are going to get it off the boards to center, and Scotty Lawton's got a partial break. Lawton in. Lawton drags it around back of the net, but lost an edge and fell, and the Sens have it back in their own zone under control. 50 seconds left in the power play. 8:16 to go, third period. 2-1 Toronto. Giroux up ahead now for Perron. Off the boards, intercepted, and Marner breaks back the other ways with Matthews, but then decides to try and spread things out. Matthews gets the puck on the near boards, thinks about going back to his own defense, then sends it into the zone, and Olmark will make sure it doesn't get to Marner. Marner slashes at it, forcing Shabbat even deeper. 20 seconds left in this penalty, and it's played back into the Ottawa zone by the Senators. Here's Giroux, through center, to the left wing side. Gregg took a shot from a sharp angle that was blocked by Stolars. Puck goes to Nyes. Nyes backhand, didn't get it out. Comes to the blue line, kept alive by Ottawa as the penalty expires. Far side, Yarncrook chasing after Perron. Perron tried to center, he scores!
From below the goal line. And as good as Anthony Stolars has been in this series, this one could not have come at a worse time. First, the Leafs failed to clear Matthew Nyes. Throwing it up the boards, it's knocked down on the backhand. But the Leafs kill off the penalty. And then David Perron from below the goal line to the right of Stolars banks it in off the Leaf goaltender and into the net to tie this game at 2.
They're looking, I think. No, they're not. I guess the puck was knocked down. by a stick on the way out. The Leafs back in their own zone, and they're going to get it ahead to Nylander, who turns back in his own zone. Up ahead for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. To the line and in on the left wing. Larsson with a shot from an angle. This one is caught by Ullmark. And there'll be a face-off in the zone as Tkachuk and Tavares shoving a little bit at the side of the goal.
Now you look at both Ottawa goals, Joe. One, just a wrist shot from the point, gets redirected, but this one, if you're Anthony Stolarz, at this point in the game, at this point in the series, you need that.
Breaking the action, you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, it's James Duffy for McAlpine Ford in Aurora. The best sales and service you will find anywhere.
Jimmy, step aside.
Oh, what are you doing? I'm recording the commercial.
I chatted with Peter at McAlpine. He wants a new voice. He loves the needle mover idea.
But this is my thing. I'm the McAlpine guy.
Beat it. It's my time to shine. Hey, come visit Pete and his team at McAlpine Ford in Aurora. Visit McAlpineFord.com. Tell him the O-Dogs sent you.
And James, too.
Take a hike, Jimmy. It's O-Dogs time now.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight with thousands of Leafs fans from all over the world. Now that we've got your attention, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. We are getting so close to that 100,000 subscriber mark here on TSI. We are just sitting around 97,500. Let's make it happen. We really appreciate you being here. Please turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single Maple Leafs game all season long and every other Toronto sports game that happens. We'll see you back in the chat, and welcome to our awesome community.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Joe Bowen here, voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The playoff pulse on Toronto Sports Insider is all about playoff thrills and making a difference with 100% line. But that time it didn't work. Then a shot off the face-off by Nylander. Went just high and wide. Willie trying to keep the puck in. Senators unable to come up with it initially. Now Shabbat gets it in over the line, and Riley plays it back into the Ottawa zone. Senators tip it right back out again. Riley is able to get it to Carlo. Brandon Carlo back of the Toronto goal. Playing it around the boards on the near side. Leafs chop it back out into neutral ice. Senators shoot it right back in again. Riley leaving it there. Played by Carlo around the boards and out. And Bobby McMahon gets it into Ottawa territory. But the Senators have time and space as the Leafs are changing. Sanderson back of the goal. Gets it ahead. And a return pass to Sanderson as he gains the zone. But it's offside. 6:05 left in the third period. And we are now tied at 2.
Ottawa out shooting the Leafs 6-2 here in the third. So the Leafs been back trying to protect that lead. Were successful on the penalty kill, but now they've got to find a way, Joe, to get some offensive zone time.
They had 3 shifts in a row where they had it down there, including the Max Domi post shot. Linesman waving both centermen out. Face off outside the Toronto blue line. Holmberg lost it. And Montepallo sends it around the boards and into the Leaf end. Canov against the boards. Played by Pontus Holmberg to an empty corner on the near side. And it is played ahead, and Domi's got a 2-on-1. Max in with a shot off the glove of the goaltender over top of the net. Max has it back of the goal. Domi centers in front with a shot. They score! They score! The Leafs third line! Max Pacioretty in the slot! The Leafs take the lead! 5:39 to go!
Starts with an on-man rush into the Ottawa zone, and I think Max Domi does the right thing. Shoot the puck. Ullmark got a piece of it. Getting his glove on it, it went back off his glove, over top of the net. And the Leafs work it out from below the goal line, behind the net, and Max Domi. A backhand pass to the high slot onto the stick of Pacioretty, and the Leafs quickly regain that 1-goal lead.
That was maximum effort, as in
to the max.
Domi and Pacioretty. 3-2 Toronto and a giveaway. Matthews trying to center and it was knocked off his stick. Domi and Holmberg get the assist on the goal. Played out at center ice now by Ottawa. Here's Stützle slipping it in. Down into the corner it goes, and a hit there by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Freed the puck up for the Leafs, and Marner carries to center and knocks it down into the zone. Leafs 3, Ottawa 2. Marner sending it around the boards to the near point. Riley kept it in but didn't get it in deep. Now the official in the way. Leafs come out with it. Nice in front. Oh, a shot off the post by Scotty Laughton. Oh, my. Nyes made a great play, and Laughton just failed to finish. Out at center. Yarncrook pushing it back into his own zone. Played up at center, and Yarncrook gets to the line and shoots it in. Laughton goes into the corner after it, back to the net. Comes away with it momentarily, but Jensen is able to get it out at center, but the Leafs steal it back. McCabe sends it back in over the line. Jensen on the right side of Amadio. Played into the Toronto zone. On the boards now for McCabe. Up on the wing and played out at center for McMahon. Shooting. Sharp angle try. And the save made by Ullmark.
I know he hasn't scored yet in the series, but this is by far Bobby McMahon's best game. As Scott Laughton hits the third post of the night for the Leafs to keep it a 1-goal game, Toronto.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Soak up spring love vibes with an all-new mix from The Flow.
Bring the beat in.
Now on the SiriusXM app, featuring 2000s R&B hits from the heart by Ashanti, Usher, and Beyonce.
All right, Maple Leafs fans, here we go. 4 minutes to go. This is it. We got to buckle down and get after it. Fred Waterer says, way to go. Thank you. 5,000 people here in the chat. That means I bet you we probably have about 1,500, maybe 2,000 that are subscribed. I bet you right now, everybody that's watching this, if they went and hit that subscribe button, we would see this jump to close to 98,000. Let's go, even though it should make it all the way to 100K. We're on our way to that plaque here on TSI, but our buds have got to just buckle down for the next 4 minutes. The Sens have given it a hell of a game tonight, and you all in the chat, hey, what's up, Christopher? How you doing, man? We got Bruno in the house, all right. Andrew Hurd, look at this. Ace, Peter, Trent, Mark Duffney, Mr. Roboto. The nerves? How the nerves doing, Mr. Roboto? Me nerves, wrench me nerves. My God, let's go. All right, we're coming back on. The sub counter is rolling. If you have not done that yet, listen. Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. The person that's listening to Leaf Sens, it's the third period, 4 minutes to go. We're going back to hockey. Hit the subscribe button. Come on, let's go. We need to get this going. Dale St. Jean with the super chat. Mike's brother, I love it. Go, Leafs, go. Let's finish strong, buds.
Pacioretty's last goal, December the 20th.
Wow. Where was that, Anaheim?
I think you're right.
Against Anaheim.
Yeah, no, Chris Johnson just sending that out. We thank him. And the Leafs with a 3-2 lead thanks to the Maxes. Played off the boards on the left wing side. Bobby McMahon works around back of the net. McMahon backhands behind the goal for Tavares. Tavares working the end boards. Nylander got it freed up. Shot taken there by Tavares was easily stopped by Ullmark. 3:40 to go. And when will Travis Green get the goaltender out for an extra attacker? Leafs on the near boards. Benoit got it ahead. McMahon was interfered with there, but the puck goes down into the Ottawa zone. Zub and Jensen Brought to center ice and shot in wide of the Leaf goal around to the far side. Oliver Ekman-Larsson ties his man up on the boards. Matthews trying to get the loose puck, but it comes back to the point. Kept in by Shabbat. To the left wing side. Here's Stützle trying to go wide. Comes to the side of the goal. Got the shot away, but it was stopped. And now Oliver Ekman-Larsson has it pinned up against the boards in the corner. Puck comes free. Centering pass out in front. Knocked away by the Leafs and with skating room to his liking. Benoit will get to center. Then play it in off the stick of Marner. Great play by Marner there. The pass was up around his eyes. And if he doesn't get his stick on it, it's an icing. 2:43 to play. Shot right back down into the Toronto zone. Benoit in against the boards, back of the net. Comes free. Centering pass. Bounced over the stick of Zetterlund. Then he got a shot that was directed wide by Stolars. Leafs get it to the line, but not out. Long shoot in, goes wide of the Leaf goal. Bounces for Tanev. Up on the wing for Lorenz. He can't get it out either. Lorenz back of the net. Into the near corner. Played off the boards to center and out at center ice. Tanev knocked the stick out of the hands of one of the Senator players. That's the reaction. 2:07 to play. Leafs hanging on and Ullmark waving at the bench. There he goes. 6 attackers for Ottawa and an empty net for the Maple Leafs. Sanderson up on the wing. Giroux got it in and it's backhanded into the Toronto end. Round on the boards played by Perron to the blue line. Sanderson's shot goes wide. Wrap-around effort down by Tkachuk goes into the corner. Tkachuk taken there by Benoit. To the far boards for Giroux. Giroux back to the point. Sanderson in for Perron. To Giroux. Giroux with a wrist shot to the side of the net that Tkachuk couldn't handle. Leafs get it free a little bit back of the net. Played around the boards but not out. Giroux with it again. To the point for Sanderson. Shot coming, blocked. Puck deflected, chipped out at center ice. Nyes racing after it. He won't get there, but he denies an icing. Nyes has it down in the corner, pinning it with 1:08 to go. Round on the open corner to the far side. Matthews takes the defensive side of things. Senators have it back of the net. Nylander chasing hard after his man. Shot in now by Zetterlund. Less than a minute. Puck on the boards far side for Tavares. Tavares for Tanev. Back of the net it goes. Centering puck comes in front. Nylander gets it out to an empty net. Please! No, it goes wide. Icing will be called. Sweet Marion Joseph.
Just once.
Why not?
Could we enjoy this?
Could we just? We don't ask for a lot, Mr. Ralph. We really don't.
Well, huge face-off. I think the Leafs will get a break because Travis Green, I'm sure, will call a timeout here.
Yeah.
And Willie Nylander falling in the Leafs zone. Decides he's going to go for the empty net. It doesn't go. And he will stay out.
No timeout. Face off to the left. And the linesman moves in a little bit more. Here we go. Draw to the left of Stolars. And that didn't go correctly. 38.7 seconds left to go in the third period. Leafs up a goal. Draw one by Ottawa. Stützle to the point to Sanderson. Played off the boards into the corner. 32 seconds left. Back around into the corner it goes, and the Senators get it back to the point. Here's Sanderson, a drive. Blocked there, and the Leafs get it out. Willie, now you got it, Willie. Now you got it. Penalty coming. Scores! Happy birthday! Happy days are here again. The sky is blue and clear again. We will drink a cup of cheer again. Happy days are here again.
Let's get rid of those bad days in between, though, as the Leafs are going to put this series away. A huge shot block by Scott Laughton. And Willie Nylander picks up the rebound. It's in the high slot and then busts around Jake Sanderson. Sanderson took Nylander down. So there would have been a penalty, or it might have been ruled a goal had Nylander not popped back onto his feet to put the backhander in. So the Leafs will now take a 4-2 lead with less than 20 seconds to go here in regulation time.
Senators get it up on the left wing, and a long shoot and is stopped and thrown into the corner by Stolars. 8 seconds left. Centering pass. Stolars, 2 saves. It comes in front of the net again, and time will run out. The Florida Panthers are coming to Toronto. The Maple Leafs slay some demons here tonight. The big boys show up. They play the style of play that the coach has implemented this year. Their goaltender comes up big when he has to, and the Leafs win it 4-2.
Maybe more importantly, the ghosts of 25 years ago beat the ghosts of the last 8 years. As the Leafs saw a 3-0 series lead slide to a 3-2 series lead coming into Game 6. But you give the Ottawa Senators credit. Travis Green did a marvelous job getting this team into the playoffs. I'm not ashamed to admit he got one of my votes for Coach of the Year.
I also agreed with you on that. I had him in my mix as well.
So a good stepping stone for Ottawa. And to stick with it, force the Leafs to a Game 6. I think they really got a lot of confidence, Joe, out of pushing the Leafs to the oh no, not again moment from a Toronto standpoint. But I thought right from the start, the Matthews line came out and were strong in the Ottawa zone. But a huge goal, game-winning goal by Max Pacioretty. And one of the things we had talked about coming into this game, the fourth line has been good. We've seen Tavares and Nylander have moments. The Matthews line have had some moments. But the third line, you need something. And it turns out it was a makeshift third line. Pacioretty started with Tavares and Nylander. And then when he's out with Max Domi, he's able to score the winning goal. Max Domi is an overtime winner in this series, but no point bigger than that backhand assist to the high slot where Pacioretty snapped it home and scored the game-winning goal of this game and this series.
No idea when the next series would start. The Eastern Conference is complete. The Western Conference could have Game 7s on the horizon, depending on how the games settle there. But the Maple Leafs will play the Florida Panthers again.
And the Leafs are trying to stop the Florida Panthers, who have gone back-to-back seasons, obviously going to the Stanley Cup Finals. They look to make it 3 in a row. Tampa did it before the Florida Panthers did. And before that, you got to go all the way back to the mid-'80s when the Edmonton Oilers went to 3 straight finals. It'll be interesting to see. I think many people thought that the Florida Panthers had an easier time with the Tampa Bay Lightning than most of us would have guessed. So Aaron Ekblad will serve the second game of his suspension. And Anthony Stolars shaking hands now with Claude Giroux as they were teammates. No, I guess they weren't teammates in Florida, were they? Maybe Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Yeah, years
probably.
ago.
Yeah.
But there's certainly some long faces of the Ottawa handshake lineup, but I think all of them, and this is my favorite part, you see the two goalies having a conversation, masks up, hands on each other's shoulders. And,
there's no other sport that does this.
No.
Not in basketball where you're just on a court. Not anywhere. Yep. This is the only sport that after running you through the boards for 7 or 6 or how many games, you are now, I'm going to give you a nice little tap and a handshake and possibly a hug and a kind word.
And another thing I think we should point out to this is that Anthony Stolars gives up a bad goal to tie the game at 2, but less than 2 minutes later, the Leafs regain the lead. And how many times have you seen Anthony Stolars bail his team out? And now I think it was great in a high-pressure moment that his guys bail him out. So we're not going to be talking a whole lot about that goal anymore, but how the Leafs were able to rebound and score the game-winning goal. It was less than 2 minutes later that Max Domi found Max Pacioretty in the slot. I thought Willie Nylander, I know he's had the 2 goals, but it was his best game of the series as well. And we brought up Bobby McMahon, who was elevated back with Willie Nylander and John Tavares in the latter part of this game. But everything Craig Berube did in game, the adjustments, ended up working out perfectly.
So it will be the Leafs and the Florida Panthers. The Ottawa Senator fans saluting a team that really has struggled over the last decade. But now the future looks bright. And Travis Green doing a wonderful job with them. Well, they will be vanquished on this occasion, but they will be heard from in future seasons, to be sure. But now it's the Maple Leafs. Can they push this envelope? And, of course, that's the next narrative. Well, you've got past one, but can you get it any further?
Well,
we'll see.
And the last time they got past one, it was the Florida Panthers that ended their season in round 2. So a lot of opportunities for redemption. And then you've got Carolina and Washington going in the next series, and you're thinking, boy, they're right there. You're not at the point where you're saying they're the favorite by any means, but there's no way you can say that their chances are considerably worse than anyone else's. And I would say Florida's included in that. Although the Panthers, watching that game last night to dispose of Tampa in 5, you say they've still got that Stanley Cup swagger, don't they?
Well, the Leafs will have home ice advantage, and that means home fan advantage. And that means Scotiabank Arena and the square outside are going to be electric. We will be with you when we find out when the next game is, but it'll be at Scotiabank Arena. Till then, we'll ship it off to Jim Taddy and company for the post-game show. Leafs win it 4-2 and win the series in 6 games. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050.
Don't miss a moment.
All right, that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The Buds get it done, 4-2. There will not be a Game 7, not this round. There might be one next round because we have a hell of a series coming up next. Oh boy, that's going to be a series. The Panthers are a hell of a team, and they are chippy, to say the least. It is going to be very, very interesting to see. And you know what? I like what I saw from the Buds tonight. I was a little scared. I will admit, after that Game 5 no-show, but I had faith. We're still up 3-2, and they showed up tonight. They showed up to play. The big boys showed up. Willie Nylander showed up. He would not be denied. He would not be denied at the end of the game. He said, I'm getting that goal, because he was so close. It was literally like an inch and a half off getting that empty net goal from the other side of the ice on his birthday. But no, it went just wide. He said, I don't care who the hell's in front of me, I'm scoring that fucking goal. And that's exactly what he did. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We're heading off to the Oilers and the Kings. That's what I'm setting up over here on this guy. And we'll be starting that one in about 20 minutes sharp. As well, we have in 20 minutes, we have the basketball game of the night. Since there's no basketball here tonight on TSI, we are doing the basketball game. The Denver Nuggets and the LA Clippers on Sons of a Pitch, Soccer Central. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the evening. I hope you do as well. The Buds are going to the second round. Thank goodness. Man, got to give it to the Sens, though. They did give a hell of a series there, especially down 3-0. They could have just folded up there, and that was it, especially heading to overtime. It was so close, one shot away. But the Sens pulled it back and put a lot of doubt into the hearts of Leafs fans all over the world. We'll see you back in the chat. We'll see you tonight for the Oilers and the Kings. Go Leafs, go! We'll let post-game run here as long as it runs. As always, that's what I do. Until my buddy Frank Trachtenberg comes on. We'll see you in the Oilers chat. Go Leafs, go. Please drop a subscribe and a like over on Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central to show your thanks for their help in our SickKids Hospital Playoff Pulse campaign here on Toronto Sports Insider. A huge night of Super Chats. One more thank you before we take it to the post game. Dale St. Jean, Mike St. Jean, Jessica Malfara, Jose Duarte, Miller Time, Andrew Hurd, Mike St. Jean again, Dave Strange, Brandy Gale, Dave Strange again, Kenneth Nisking something, David Love, Dave Strange, Dave Strange, Dave Strange, Dave Strange. Bro, you gotta slow down, man. Thank you. Holy my God, holy Mackinac. Thank you so much for the support tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely amazing what it means to me and my family. is absolutely massive. And this amazing community, we are able to keep growing and keep doing awesome things like building that cool website and doing more and more stuff. I'm launching all kinds of stuff to make everything better for us as a community, changing the world one insider at a time with the work that we're doing with SickKids Hospital. Go Leafs, go. We'll see ya on some night because we don't know yet, but the Buds are hosting the Panthers in Game 1 and we'll see you then. Good night, insiders. Cheers. Thank you so much for the amazing support tonight, everybody. Good night.
Cheer again. Happy days are here again.
Oh, yes, Guy. 4-2. The Leafs win the game and the series. Welcome to Leafs Game Night, the post-game show. Jim Taddy, Mike DiStefano, and Ralphie, kind enough to hang around. Ralphie, I just want to go back to the point you were making with Bonesy at the end of that broadcast. The management of Pacioretty's game by the coaching staff was marvelous. He sets up the Nylander goal in the third period, moves to another line. They move McMahon up and scores. And, I mean, that's maximum production out of a guy that some people didn't even want in the lineup. But he really played a great game.
Yeah, and you're right. I think it was the management of Craig Berube. You know, they start him up with Nylander and John Tavares, and yet by the time he gets united, by the way, Bobby McMahon I thought was great as well.
Yeah,
who eventually moved back up with Nylander and Tavares. But you put that line together, and as Al's brother was saying a little earlier, you can see in the third period all the lines started to generate some offensive zone time and make some plays, and it was, other than Joe's singing at the end, I thought it was a perfect hit of the series.
I'll say this too, to kind of continue to praise the coach and Craig Berube. You know, years past, we've seen the Maple Leafs and the goalie sometimes give up that back-breaking goal late in the game, right, to tie it or surrender what was a tied game, and then they're trailing, and the Leafs haven't been able to get it back. They got it back quick. There was a response from the team, and I can't help but feel like Craig Berube, being the calm presence he is behind the net, said, "Don't worry, boys, we can get that one back." I just can't help but feel like that had him written all over it.
Yeah, and I think that, at that moment, you're thinking, oh, no.
Yeah.
Not at this point in Game 6 does Anthony Stolarz have a bad one.
Yeah.
Go in. I mean, and you know what he was trying to do? You saw the stick come out, the arm come out, looking for the poke check to keep the pass from going out front. You give Perron credit. He saw the gap and banked it in off the right shoulder of Stolarz and in. But you love the fact that Leaf goaltending so often, and including this series, they've bailed out the guys in front of them. And it was nice to see it go back the other way, where they got one right back for him, because now we're going to mention this briefly now. This is not going to be the story tomorrow morning that everyone's going to be talking about. So I think you love that. And again, to maybe the experience of Craig Berube having gone to the Stanley Cup Finals and winning a cup. You remember when St. Louis played against San Jose, series was tied 1-1. Game 3 is in St. Louis, and the infamous hand pass in overtime that led to the overtime goal by Erik Karlsson for the Sharks. And Craig Berube, I went and found the interview after. He said, well, it didn't go our way. We got to get ready for the next game. So that looked like it could have been a turning point in the series. St. Louis came back and won 3 in a row. So I do think, the experience and the temperament of the Leaf coach had a lot to do with, keeping everybody sane and not having to answer the same old questions and deal with the same fears from the past.
Oh, I totally agree. The post game on Tuesday night, one of the first things that came out of his mouth was, we have a 3-2 series lead. We're going to Ottawa. We've won there before. And that just sort of quiets down, all those questions about what if, because he's just the way he delivers it. There's not an edge, or he's not defensive. He just says it point blank and then continues on. And it doesn't open any doors negatively.
No, and it's more matter of fact. It's like, hey, this is life. Sometimes you get some bad calls. Sometimes this happens. It's how you deal with it. And, it's great, once you finish the series off to say, boy, he was right. Of course, when...
He's right about a lot, though.
Yeah,
right about a lot.
Yeah, but it was, I started looking up if the Leafs lost 4 in a row this season, and they haven't. They've lost 3 in a row, I think, 4 times. So you're starting to prepare for Saturday thinking you hope it doesn't come to that. But, The other thing that he said, trying to protect the core four, he said, look, this is a team effort.
Yeah.
We need everybody. And
how's a team win?
And tonight you had everybody.
Yeah, I agree. This was a team win. You get the goaltender who played well, gave up the one soft goal, but the team picked him up after that. The second line, I thought Willie, his best game of the postseason for sure. So that second line was rolling. They provided a goal, get the empty netter for the insurance. The power play scored in the first period. You liked what you saw from Matthews in that line at 5-on-5. And of course, the third line with the game-winning goal. Max Pacioretty comes through. Max Domi, who'd been heavily criticized all series long for the way that he's played. And he finally comes up and makes a play, gets the puck to Pacioretty, and really sends this team through to the next round, essentially. And that fourth line, consistent all night long.
I mean, you do love the fact that, Domi wins the one-on-one battle with Pontus Holmberg behind the net.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at it from Ottawa's standpoint, you're going, how did they give up that odd man rush? Started that play where Domi got the shot off. But, you give them credit where, they battled. And let's not forget, the Leafs hit 3 posts as well. Scotty Lawton hit one in the third period.
Pacioretty early in the game.
Pacioretty hit one in the first period. I think there was another one in there as well that they rang. Well, Willie, kind of the outside of the post.
On the empty net.
Yeah, but it came back in the second period, came right back into all marks. So I thought the Leafs were full marks for the win. I did think both teams at times coughed the puck up at their own end because of the pressure of the forecheck. But all in all, I mean, I think it's, for lack of a better term, well-controlled game from a Leaf standpoint.
They did give it away 23 times, but now that it's over, we can look back. If you take out Game 1 and Game 5, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are eerily similar. There's blown leads. There's, I don't know how to describe it, the uncertainty about who was going to win. Obviously, 3 of those games go to overtime, but this was sort of like that, those overtime games, wasn't it?
Yeah, although I still think, Jimmer, there was a lot of those games where you felt like the Leafs, up until the last game, Game 5. You felt like the Leafs were sort of in control of the series. And, you go back to the, 2 years ago when the Leafs lost to the Florida Panthers in the second round. Now, you're saying, if you remember it as I do, you're thinking Florida simply controlled that series. 4 of the 5 games were 1-goal games. And Florida won 2 of them in overtime. And, so you could say, well, those go the other way. It's a different series. But, it usually does go to the team that's controlling the play, and that is going to hedge their bets when it comes to getting that break at the right time. And a lot of that's confidence, and sometimes it's the hockey gods lending a helping hand.
Did the Demons die tonight?
Well, like we said at the end, thank God it was the ghost from 25 years ago beat the ghost from the last 8 or 9 seasons. So it is funny that, these guys most of them weren't even around when Ottawa and Toronto played in the playoffs back in the early 2000s. And yet that's going to be talked about again. That's going to go into that, history book of who can't beat who. Remember, Boston, for the most part, can't beat Montreal in the playoffs. There's all these historical references to draw upon. But an important game for the Leafs. And now that it's over, I think you could say, I'm glad they went through this adversity.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, no, I don't think Greg Berube held a meeting and said, boys, this is too easy. Let's bail in and really test ourselves in Game 6.
Wow, look, it doesn't get easier.
Yeah, I think there was something about, boy, if they win 4 straight, like you want them to be pushed a little bit, but then
that was last Saturday.
Yeah, careful what you wish for. But you do like the fact that they've probably faced a little more adversity than Florida has at this point. But the Florida Panthers back-to-back appearances to the Stanley Cup Finals, and some great additions from Seth Jones to Brad Marchand.
It'll be tough.
It's going to be a test.
Well, they got pushed. I felt in this game, Ralph, if you take out the Perron goal, which was really out of character, the rest of the game was the Leafs were playing their game. I wasn't really worried about it until I saw the Perron goal go in and go, what the heck was that?
Yeah, and it's it's no different than you look at what the last the last few game winners, even Sanderson, a wrist shot from the point through a screen. The game winner in Game 5, Thomas Chabot, a wrist shot from the point through a screen. Tonight, a wrist shot from the point gets redirected, and now one gets banked in. So, I think there is something positive in that they haven't given up goals on, giving away great scoring opportunities. But, this series against Florida coming up, there are going to be a lot of goals like that where, they're going to be ugly. They're going to be bounces. It's all going to be who's jamming the net, traffic in front and getting it through. So, as big a test as the Senators were, you got the defending Kings coming in next.
Well, it does feel like Toronto, just based on how they played in this series and based on, you look like the amount of high danger chances against this year, they're built more so to withstand that style of game and that pressure that the Panthers are going to want to, operate with, as opposed to a couple of years ago when they lost in the second round.
Yeah, and hopefully, that's one end of the ice. Hopefully at the other end, and what you did like about the four lines was that they were all able to generate opportunities from the slot.
Yeah.
And what do you hear after every series when they lose? They kept us to the outside. They took the middle of the ice away. Well, a lot of times you got to put your head down and bulldoze your way to get there. And Leafs are going to have to do that against Florida.
The other, I guess, positive on this game was everybody found a way to make a contribution. Sometimes that doesn't happen, not through effort, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. I thought they were all accountable tonight.
Yeah, and, like when you say that, Nylander's put up the points in the series, but you say tonight was his best game of the series. I thought
for sure
the Matthews line 5-on-5, it was their best game of the series. So a lot of guys came through. I thought defensively Ottawa was really good on the forecheck. And the Leafs got caught a number of times trying to flip the puck out or trying to get it out through traffic, and Ottawa was able to keep it in, and the Leafs fortunately didn't pay for it often enough, during this game. But there were a few hiccups I think on their own end, but I think especially the four lines, you've got to be thrilled. And even though Scotty Lawton's line with Yarncroc and Lorentz, even though they didn't score,
effective.
Are they momentum shifters? Where it's, I remember there was one, I think it was in the third period, where they take the defensive zone face-off, win it, get it to center, dump it in, and then spend the next 25 seconds in the Ottawa zone.
And then the first line came over the boards right away.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want. You don't expect them to score 4 or 5 a night, but boy, can they set the table sometimes.
Ralphie, one more before we let you go. Now that it's done, 6 games later, how would your description of what the Leafs are now compare with how they were when they started the series?
I think what you would say is, for the most part, they're what you hoped they would be. It is funny that, a lot of people picked, the Leafs or Toronto but picked the series to go 6 or 7. And I was in that ilk that I thought it was going at least 6.
Leafs and 6. That's what I said.
Yeah, and then we're gonna criticize the GPS on how they got there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, wait. I said 6, but not like this.
No.
Yeah. So it
exactly.
I think it was. It was an improvement. There. As much as Game 5, I think, was the disappointing one.
Mm-hmm.
They follow it up with this one, and I think that's probably as important as anything. And even. If they would have lost this game in overtime, I still think you would have had a better feeling based on how they played through the 60 minutes tonight that they weren't necessarily in trouble in Game 7.
There would have still been a lot of nervousness heading into Saturday. I don't know, Ralphie.
I'm really glad we're not going to find out.
Yeah, exactly. We knew they were coming home, right? We just didn't know coming home to play Florida or coming home to play Ottawa. I'm glad it is Florida.
Absolutely. Ralphie, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, let's do a few more of these, Jimmer.
Yeah, okay. At least another couple of weeks.
Yeah, thanks, guy.
Thank you. So, just to continue that thought, AB, I predicted 6. Ralphie predicted 6. You did too. What puts it sort of into a loop are the overtime games. I don't think, I know none of us had them up 3-0 in the series.
No, I thought it'd be a back and forth series, and it's funny. The roadmap to get to Leafs in 6 definitely a little murky, but we can't have our cake and eat it too. We wanted the Leafs to get this thing done in 6 games, didn't want to have to worry about a 7th, and they got it done. It was shaky at times, and certainly maybe reevaluated, when they were up 3-0, how you wanted it to end, but the fact that they got it done is really all that matters, and they're moving on to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs and still alive and can still end that drought. They can still end that drought.
Yes, they can. And we'll see. We'll be there to cover it, of course. 4-2, the Leafs win the game and the series. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach holder, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Jan owns a home and a restaurant fusing French and Mexican cuisine. But she is fusing no more because her ovens have gone kaput. She called Alpine Credits, who sent their speedy superhero. With her business loan approved, her ovens were quickly fixed. The hero even had some of her poutine nachos. Yum! Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
Leafs Game Night. Jim and Mike DiStefano with you. 4-2, the Leafs win the game and win the series. And now it's on to host Florida in the next round. Game night for game one is to be determined, and that'll either happen later tonight or sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours, just because the East is all done. So maybe they might release something tomorrow. When it is released, you'll hear it on TSN 1050, and we'll be able to map out our coverage for you. So Austin Matthews started the proceedings at 1850 of the first period in a power play. It looked like a sort of a pass to Nyes that found the inch and a half that was open close to the post. It goes in, and here is Austin Matthews and how it feels to win this series.
Feels good. Yeah, feels good.
What did it take to get it done tonight?
I mean, we talked about it this morning. Like, it's not going to be easy. We've spoken about it. There's going to be ups and downs. Just the way we responded, after goals against, just sticking with it, grabbing the momentum back. A couple big plays by some guys tonight. Obviously, big goal by Patch, and just proud of this group. It's a hard-earned series, and got to enjoy that. Take the good, take the bad, and now move on to the next one.
What did you take from the group this morning? What was your sort of sense of the team coming into this one?
You know what? I thought we had great energy this morning. Just the confidence in ourselves, and like I kind of talked about, I mean, nothing else really matters. All the outside stuff doesn't really matter. It's about the 20, 25 guys that are in our room, and the belief in one another, doing it for one another, and just going out there and competing. So, this one feels good.
What do you like that moment mean for Max?
Yeah.
What does that moment mean for Max? Do you think?
I mean, it's huge. He played great, I thought, all night, and just the ups and downs that he's been through in the last couple of years, and putting himself in this position, battling back from a couple injuries this year, and I mean, he scores the series clinching goal. I mean, can't say enough good things about him. I love playing with him. It's been awesome getting to know him, and he's a big part of our room.
What do you see on your goal, Austin?
I thought Nyes was screening the goalie really well. I just tried to get it in there, and luckily found its way through.
There's lots of pressure on the group from the outside. What did you guys show by just fighting off this charge by Ottawa?
Like I said, I mean, all the stuff on the outside, it's not, it's in one ear out the other. It's all about the guys in the room, and the focus is going to continue to be on all 20, 25 guys that are in our room, and just focusing on that, just continuing to do what we can for one another, just continuing to push.
What was it like on the bench after the Braun goal? Like, what was it being said to each other? How did you gather yourself after that?
Nothing, just go out and play. Next shift, go out and play. Like I said, the response was great. We went out there and we took charge and got the momentum back, and Domes' line went to work, hounded some pucks, made a big play, and then Patch buried it.
What are your initial thoughts on another crack in Florida in round two?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be another hard series. I mean, they're obviously defending champs, back-to-back Cup finals. It's going to be hard. We definitely got to reset and do our homework and rest up, do what we can, and go in there with confidence and go in there with some pushback.
Austin Matthews postgame. So, AB, let's talk about this. I mean, we've got a sample size here of how the Leafs respond, how they battle through adversity, how they sort of slip it and then get it back. And we saw that with regularity during the regular season. Not that many dips, but when they did, they came back. And you always wonder what that means. How does it translate into the next round? Obviously, Florida is bigger, stronger, meaner, better than the Ottawa Senators. But the Leafs are now not what they were when the series started. They're better, too.
Oh, absolutely. They're a better team, and they're a much better team than when they last played the Florida Panthers in a Stanley Cup series, right? So I think the Leafs are, more battle tested and more prepared. Obviously, Craig Berube is a big difference behind the bench. And, a lot of that, what we saw tonight, I credit Berube for, like Ralphie was saying, the way that he was able to make those in-game adjustments seemed like everything kind of worked. Whether it was putting Pacioretty to start the game on the second line and then noticed, okay, Bobby McMahon's kind of buzzing tonight. Let's move him up the lineup and put Patches down on the third line. Maybe his legs were getting a little tired, wasn't winning as many battles, so decided to make that change. And what do you know? It ends up in another goal in the game-winning goal for Berube. So, I thought that he did an excellent job. And again, I just can't help but think that his presence behind the bench and what the calming presence he brings. Austin Matthews, we just heard him say there's going to be ups and downs, and they needed to respond after goals against, and he thought they did a good job of grabbing momentum back. And he's pointing to that Perron goal. Like that's the moment that he's referring to, where it was we gave up a stinker, a bad one, and there was a chance where we could have hung our heads and sulked. But instead, we went back to work. The third line went and did their thing, and we got the goal back. And I didn't see that a lot over the course of the last few years. But it's been more of something that we've seen this season. And there was always a question, though. Let's wait for the playoffs. Let's wait and see if they could do it when it matters in the spring. Now, again, there's 3 more series to go. The job's not finished, but pretty solid work tonight.
Well, there's just more here to be positive about. I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not down in the post press conference area on a regular basis because I'm on the air. I'm up in the booth at Scotiabank Arena. But I was not doing that game on Tuesday night, so I went down and I watched. I make notes of what I'm seeing. So I saw, and I don't know that this happens on a regular basis or not, so I don't want to build it into something it may not be. I saw Brad Treliving walk out from where the Leafs dressing room was, and prior to that, I saw Brendan Shanahan do the same. Now, when Craig Berube came out, and I noticed, and I've said this on the air right away, how calm he was, how he pointed to the positive. This is a section of poise that if you go back over a number of years, and I'm not throwing other people under the bus, I'm just saying that this is different. There were people in those positions before that were younger and didn't have the kind of experience that Mr. Treliving does and that Berube has. And you saw it sort of that lack of composure or experience transmit through the team. You don't see that anymore.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And you saw it tonight. And even just the way that Treliving has built this team, it's been far different than the way the other iterations of this Maple Leafs team has been built. One of the best players on the ice tonight. He doesn't get talked about a whole lot because he's not super flashy, but he's super simple and he plays the game the right way. Chris Tanev. Chris Tanev on a nightly basis is often the best player on the ice, but we don't talk about him as much. But the amount of plays that guy makes to really just put out fires defensively, things could be a mess if that guy wasn't in the ice, wasn't out there for the Maple Leafs. But he just continually makes the smart decision. Even if he loses a foot race to a puck on a forecheck, he somehow is always able to get the puck back and get it out safely and quickly and move the puck back up ice. That guy is so talented and just so smart. And cerebral, and that was a guy that Treliving had in Calgary, and he knew he could help us. What he does is what this team needs, and he has been a big-time difference maker for this blue line. OEL, you could say the same thing. You've seen an elevation from Jake McCabe's game by playing with Chris Tanev. That guy doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but man, is he ever a special player and a big-time contributor to this Leafs team.
Well, and throw in Carlo, and so what you see what you see when you watch these guys play is the respect they get on the ice. People run them, but they do it respectfully. Yeah. You can remember Maple Leaf defensemen over the years that didn't have that respect and got absolutely poleaxed.
Well, it's just it's size, and then it's also youth. Like before, they're running out the Sandins and the Lilligrens and the Dermots.
And that's a good point, because in the Montreal series, Corey Perry just aimed at Rasmus Sandin.
Yeah,
and he won every battle.
And you're not going to do that against Chris Tanev. You're not going to do that against Brandon Carlo, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. It was a significant upgrade this summer, and throughout the year, adding Carlo at the deadline. They now have a blue line that's built for playoff hockey. And you saw it come in handy throughout this entire series. It was a very low-event game, but that's what playoff hockey is all about. Tonight, they only surrendered 22 shots. The game before, they only gave up 19 shots. They lead the league in blocked shots. Tonight, they only gave up 10 high-danger chances. Like, that's what you need to see in playoff hockey, and a lot of that is because this blue line far superior than the blue lines of past.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but it means you're not going to take yourself out of a series.
That's right. That's right.
So when Perron scored, what did you? I looked at that one. Are you kidding me?
Jim, I had no idea what happened, and even watching the replay on TV, I'm like, can I see an angle of the puck going in the net? They showed like 6 times, and I just couldn't see the puck. I'm like, how did that go in?
It went off the back of Stolar's head.
Finally, they showed one where it went off the back of Stolar's and in, and I'm just like, how does that go in? And up until the response goal, I was that Leafs fan who's sitting there with his hands in his head thinking, they're doing it again. Are you kidding me? They're doing it again. It's like last year, Samsonov gives up that goal late in the third period, and then that thing goes to overtime. You're thinking to yourself, I can't believe they're about to do it again. But credit to the Leafs. They didn't let that hinder them. They didn't let it sit in their heads rent-free. Those demon whispers that usually get louder and louder in situations like that. Sounds like they silenced them, and they went to work, and they got it done. Max Pacioretty, too, with him not being part of that, the Leafs team the last few years. Like, maybe that doesn't weigh on him as much, which is why the next play he was able to go out and do something.
Well, and that's another tree living find, right? You bring a guy in, he's hurt a bit, doesn't play a full season, hadn't really played much in the last 2 months due to salary cap situations, and there he comes in. They put him in at the right time of the series, and in effect, he helps decide the series. That's just another astute move.
For sure, and to play him up on the second line to start resulted in a goal. The start resulted in the second goal of the game, and then obviously gets the game winner himself. Pacioretty worked his ass off to get back into the lineup, and he came out and performed tonight. And obviously, I think it was his first goal since December 20th. I saw first goal since December 20th. Man, what a time to get it done.
If you're going to get one, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, I would say tie game late in the third period. You just surrender the game tying goal. That's a good time to break that goalless skid.
Tonight's Coach's Comment is powered by your Ontario Honda dealers. Get performance and get in the game with a Civic Hybrid, available now at your Ontario Honda dealer. Here's Coach Berube and what he liked about his team's game.
Loved our start. They made a pretty good push in the second, I thought, but overall, I thought it was a solid game by everybody. I think our captain led us the way.
Apparently there was an error before the game with Alex Nylander activated ahead of William. Walk us through what happened there and how close was it?
Well, you're on the sheet there, and it's like, the normal names are up there but when you call guys up, they're all on there, and I got confused, so I'm like, what the hell? And so told the officials, it's Willie, not Alex.
Alex is down there.
Yeah, he's here.
Just how happy are you that you stuck with Max Pacioretty, and what do you think that moment means for him?
Well, it's a lot. I mean, it's a huge goal, obviously, and I thought, he had some opportunities early. He hit the post there in the first, maybe. Had a nice play on Willie's goal with a good stick, broke a play up. He did a real good job for us, and veteran guy's been around, he's playing a lot of playoff games, so he came through tonight for us.
Lots of pressure on the outside. I know you guys try to ignore it, but what did the group show tonight by just pushing through against this job?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, they were business-like today. I think after, the Game 5 loss at home, it's a tough one. We came in here with a little bit different mindset, and I think that was a big key and big moment by the team for, just to come in here with a little bit different mindset. It wasn't do or die, but we wanted to finish it off here for sure. And we seemed a little bit more aggressive and on our toes tonight in the game, and just playing. Go play. Do what you do. You're good players. We've got a good team, been a good team all year. Just go play the game and play it hard and play it with structure.
Craig, you said the captain led you. What did you appreciate about Austin's
work ethic and competitiveness the whole game, high end. I don't know what his face-off percentage is right now, but it was high. I didn't see him lose too many draws. Starts there, and just heavy physical work, competing. Touched all areas of the game for us tonight in a good way. PK, power play, obviously he scored a big goal. So, like I said, he led the way.
Quickly flip the script or flip the page to the Panthers. Just an early thought on that series and the challenge that Florida brings.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're obviously the Stanley Cup champs, so they're a very good team. They got a lot of good pieces there. They're hard to play against. I could keep going on and on, but it's not the time right now.
David Perron's a gamer. What goes through your mind when that goal goes in? How would you describe the bench?
Well, I thought we did a good job killing that penalty off, and it's tough. It's the heat of the moment with everything, and we didn't get that puck out right away, and I thought though we could have stayed on with the pressure and not let off, but you're not sure if the guy's out of the box yet. I get it all, but he's a gamer. He knows how to score big goals. But the bench was good. I mean, we didn't panic, guys. Let's go get it right now. That's what I heard on the bench. So let's go get it. We're good. And I thought that we came out and got on our toes again, and we're playing, which is a good mindset to have. We talked before the game. Focus on the next shift. Some things bad happen out there, whatever. Just focus on the next shift. Let's go.
Last question, Matt. Craig, before tonight, you guys had one goal from the bottom six all series, and Max gets it. Technically, he's on the third line, I believe, when he gets the goal. So you do get one from the bottom six tonight. What do you think was holding that part of the lineup back, and what does it mean to finally get one from the bottom six tonight?
Well, he scored an overtime goal, so that's, I think they contributed. I get, we need everybody to contribute in the playoffs for sure. But it's not all on the score sheet all the time. They do other things, You take the Lawton line. These guys, I thought they played a great series, that line. I thought they were so effective for us, and, checking, killing, momentum. What a block by Lawton at the end of the game. That's laying it on the line. That's how you win a series right there. So they may not see them on the score sheet, but they're valuable players for us that do a lot of other things right. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, I can't stress enough how well that fourth line played, Taddy, throughout this entire series. They were the most consistent line. Were they the best line every night? No, but they were the most consistent line each and every night. I mean, they're pretty much the third line. If you look at how the minutes were distributed in the last 3-4 games, like that, they were the third line, the shutdown line for this team, and they were fantastic. But I like that Craig Berube came out and said that his captain led the way. Austin Matthews led the way with his work ethic and competitiveness the whole game. And I thought he did too. I thought he played, a heavy game. He ends up scoring a goal, 72% in the faceoff dots. He won a lot of battles along the board, some 50-50 pucks, 3 hits, a block, a takeaway, killing penalties. He opened the scoring for the game on the power play. And that's something that the Maple Leafs had not been able to do in these closeout games. What was it? 0 for 30. Coming into the game in elimination games on the power play. They get their first power play in the game, and he buries it, makes no mistake, and makes a statement early on in the game. So I think for sure he loves what he saw from his captain, and it's nice because Matthews, he had a tough game 5, bit pedestrian. Same thing with William Nylander, but I thought those two were two of the best players on the ice for the Leafs tonight.
Yeah, and going back to that Perron goal, he talked about they killed off the Riley penalty, and 7 seconds after they kill it off, Perron gets that goal when Nyes couldn't clear. I mean, that should have left a dent, but it did not, because 141 later, Pacioretty scores, and that just tips it in the Leafs' direction. When we come back, we'll hear from Pacioretty and Nylander, who both had big games. That is next. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the
Kentucky Derby is here, and VSiN is covering all the action with a live show Saturday beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm Mike Somich. Join me and Aaron Halterman for a special live edition of VSiN at the Track. We'll give you the latest news, handicap the race, and give you our best bets, plus interviews with guests like legendary announcer Dave Johnson. Join us live for VSiN at the Track Saturday.
To every child and family who've needed us since 1875, and all who support us, our hospital needs no introduction. But just in case, it's SickKids. And it's our 150th birthday. Our mission has always been healthier children, a better world. The first children's hospital in Canada, SickKids. Pasteurizing milk to prevent disease 30 years before it was mandatory. The heart-lung machine that transformed open heart surgery. A pediatric kidney transplant in 1969. SickKids. SickKids. And SickKids. We discovered the gene for cystic fibrosis so patients live longer lives. And we just created the world's first Atlas of Cancer, using machine learning to analyze 13,000 variations. Today, the hospital sees over 130,000 patients a year. We're a research powerhouse, a training magnet, attracting nearly 600 clinical and research fellows from around the globe every year. And we're the #1 publicly funded children's hospital in the world. We're celebrating 150 years of excellence, driven by philanthropy. What's next? Thanks to donors like you, we're going to keep healing Canada and the world, and we're going to heal the future.
The quote, I've had a lot of conversations with my family and others, and I thought I was done playing a number of times. So you can just imagine what getting the game-winning goal, the series-winning goal, would mean to this guy. His post-game now, Nylander and Pacioretty. It starts with Willie.
I think that we're, happy obviously to be the second round, but now our focus is, Florida. So that's where I think our mind's at, and, have a good night tonight, enjoy the win, and then focus on Florida.
Max, we know what you've been through injury-wise, and starting the series as a healthy scratch. What does this moment mean to you?
It means a lot. You keep playing because you want to pitch in, and obviously when you're sitting down and the team's winning, it's you're happy for them, but you want to be a part of it, and just thankful for the opportunity.
William, just a general comment about your game tonight. Your happy birthday, by the way. Were you aware at all of the roster screw-up that it looked like for a while it'd be your brother playing and not you?
I heard about it after the game, but yeah, luckily somebody caught that.
Just a little bit about your game tonight, because 2 big goals.
Yeah, I think, we competed as a team the entire game, and, got that power play and scored one there, and I think we just started flowing from there. I think we were hunting, and, Patch had a huge goal for us tonight, and still he was unbelievable, and unbelievable team effort tonight to get the win and move on.
Max, just wondering what the first thought you had as soon as you saw that puck go in, and curious if your kids were here tonight.
No, they weren't here, but relieved after, Willie made that great play in the first, and I hit the post off a wide open net. just kind of talking to myself throughout the game, thinking it will come. And fortunate that Dome's made a great play, and there's a great screen as well.
William, what stood out to you watching Max work his way back and get ready for this moment?
Yeah, it's incredible, battling and, through his entire career, played against him when he was in Montreal and now seeing him here and, he's done an unbelievable job and it's been a lot of fun playing with him and, the way he's come back from injury and, made his way into lineup and becoming a key player for us. I mean, it's incredible.
Last question, sorry.
Max, for people who are unaware of your story, how close when you're going through all this, we know that you went to different places in the world to try to come back. How close did you ever come to say, you know what, that's it, my career is over, and just the resilience that you've shown to come back and have this heroic moment?
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversations with people in my family and others, and I thought that I was done playing a number of times. And everyone always supported me to keep going, but my story is just one of many, and it's one that's public, so it's one that's talked about. But a lot of resilient guys in this organization, been through a lot as well. So guys like that motivate me to keep going.
Mike Seisberger from NHL.com with that question for Pacioretty that I quoted earlier. And so, AB, we could say this now. When we look back on the Leafs, even a couple of years ago, this was a much younger team and not ready. And at some point, Ottawa, we're going to realize that this would describe their season. Great strides in 1 year, but just not ready to take the next step. You kind of feel that the Leafs are.
Yeah, for sure. Like Ottawa, this is the first time that team has made the playoffs. Only a handful of guys who are on the other side of the puck tonight, have played playoff hockey. Whereas Toronto, they've been there. This is 9 straight trips to the postseason for this Matthews, Marner, Nylander team. They're not a young squad anymore. They're one of the oldest teams in the league, and a guy like Max Pacioretty, they added a little age in the summer, right? Like Pacioretty, Chris Tanev, OEL. None of those three are spring chickens, right? At the deadline, they add Brandon Carlo, who's 28, 30 years old. They add Scotty Lawton, who's into his 30s. Like they added a lot of veterans to this group, and I think they realize that's what they need, right? That's what this team needs to try and get over the hump, they're definitely more poised now than they were, say, 4 or 5 years ago of making a deep run because of it.
Having said that, there's no guarantee against Florida. This is a really good hockey team.
Oh, well, absolutely. They're the defending Cup champions, 2 straight trips to the Stanley Cup final, and man, did they ever make quick work of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I thought that was going to be a 7-game series, and Bobrovsky just kind of turned it on and said, we're going to end this thing in 5. And even getting to 5, was kind of wild. So that's going to be a tough test. In Toronto, like Ottawa is one thing, and that's the thing, Jim. There was, even still, despite getting the win in this round and moving on to the second round for just the second time in the last, 22 years, there's still going to be question marks. And it's because, Ottawa, not as good a team as the Florida Panthers. They're not as battle tested. They're not, playoff performers yet. And Florida is. And Florida's the defending Cup champions. It's going to be, he thought round 1 was difficult. Round 2 is going to kick it up a notch. So Toronto better be ready to go when the puck drops for game 1 in the next few days.
Yeah, and the difference is there's veteran presence on the Leafs in all parts of their organization now. Mm-hmm. Having said that, Florida Panthers have at least 3 grizzly bears they're going to have to declaw.
3 grizzly bears? Who's that?
Well, Ekblad's one of them for sure. Kachuk is one, and let's put Marchand in there because he's a leaf killer.
Yeah, no, he is. I gotta go against Brad Marchand again in a 7-game series. That's gonna look so weird, isn't it? Watching Brad Marchand taking on the Leafs in the playoffs in a Panthers jersey, that's gonna look real bizarre, Jim. Real bizarre.
It is, but it's going to be a going concern. You know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a playoff performer, and look at the way that he played in the series against Tampa Bay. right? Like, he was one of the better players. He's one of the big producers for the Florida Panthers. And you know that, he's there to try and win another Stanley Cup. At the deadline, he said to Boston, yeah, I'd be willing to waive, but I want to go here. And I want to go there because I think they can win. So Toronto's standing in their way, right? But vice versa, Florida standing in Toronto's way. And I expect the Maple Leafs to put up a much better effort. Like, I don't think this is going to be a quick 5-game series.
No.
Like it was a couple of years ago. I truly believe the Leafs are I think they know what to expect now. Right? They know what to expect, and I think they'll be ready and prepared for this series against Florida.
I'm just always struck by the suddenness of elimination in the NHL playoffs. I guess you could apply it to the NBA and Major League Baseball as well. I mean, there's Ottawa so close, and then it's gone. It's over. And, we're talking about the next round for the Leafs for the first time in a while. And, it's the sudden ending. The handshakes are remarkable. I love watching that and have all my life. It's just, there's something special about that elimination, the respect shown. And, you don't get that in any other sport.
No. That's why it's the best sport on the planet, Jim. The best sport on the planet for a reason.
AB, thanks very much. Nice working with you.
Absolutely. 1-0 with me on the broadcast. I just want to point that out for anyone thinking about
this year.
The future.
This year, yeah. You forgot about Game 7 last year.
Doesn't matter. Craig Berube wasn't here in Game 7 last year. It's a different year, Jim. It's a different year with different vibes. Leafs, Panthers, round 2. I can't wait.
And neither can I. This is Leafs Game Night at TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and...
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
We got to fix this and do it right now. So that was, in many ways, as miserable it was for, and particularly with my team, because I had a great team, but they did the heavy lifting because in essence, we had to do everything on handshakes. You're not going to get everything documented, but you're talking about the most honorable parties on earth, the mayor, Fox, Liberty Media. When they shake your hand, it's gold. And so we got it all done, and here we are.